All right, what's poppin', Tub Nation? Welcome back to Tub Takes. This is a VGC video podcast where we go over what's been making waves in the VGC scene today. I'm joined by my co-host, Adi.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Tub Takes. It's good to be here.
You got to save the rain for like a Kyogre win, man, or something like that. I don't know. I like the effect, though. Yeah, I don't know. You've seen him before, so he's less exciting than your Utrecht regional champion, Michaelderbeste. Michael, how you doing?
I'm trying a backflip now, okay? Nice.
Okay, yes.
Now, if I do, I think it's not going to end well, but thanks for having me.
No, we're the ones that are excited to have you here. And yeah, we're gonna be of course covering all of the tournaments from this past weekend, so there is a lot. We'll definitely talk a lot about Michael's run and Utrecht here at the start. But then, there's Thailand, there's Melbourne, there's Santiago in Chile. So lots of what's funny is I'm at the original draft of my tweet had something like so many people got their Worlds invites this weekend, and then I was like, but Michael, you doubled up on that one, so you kind of ruined that. I was gonna say something like, such and such amount of people got their invites, but I would have to subtract one because you already have one. You're so selfish.
Michael has 2. He got top 4 at Worlds too.
No, 3, right?
Yeah, this is his third. This is his third invite. Plus the one that he gets for being top 75. That one counts.
Right.
Did anyone have 3 auto invites before?
Wait, people are saying 4. Although 4 is if you count the points qualification, which of course he will have enough points. Yes.
You are, at least in VGC, you are the only person to get 3 auto invites.
Which is funny to say because I'm like surprised that Wolf hasn't already done it or something like that. But I guess like Wolf just currently has 2, right?
He has 2.
Sorry.
Yeah, he didn't get the Worlds one.
Wolf has 3 if you count the championship points one, which of course I think anybody that's like winning several tournaments in a season is going to have enough championship points to be in the top X of whatever it has to be. I think that just goes without saying. But anyways, go ahead.
Okay, never mind. I just wanted to say people were complaining that GC should give auto invites as well, but then Suika would have had 4. 3.
That's true. He would just take them all.
Well.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
So yeah, let's go ahead and dive into the topics today. But before we do, if you guys have any questions for Michael here, just make sure to drop them in the Twitch chat. We'll be watching along. And also, if you're here now but you won't be around for the full thing, check it out on YouTube. I got it here, !YT in the chat. That's where this will be posted tomorrow. And anyways, let's go ahead and get into the first thing. The first thing is of course, Utrecht. We're not going exactly in chronological order. I just kind of wanted to start out with this one, just get right to it, because I'm sure everyone has a lot of questions about this tournament. And so, Michael, I did pull up your team with the full EVs and everything. You said you guys, I heard it in a stream interview, you put it together on Friday?
Yeah, so technically, 1 week ago, I played a local, or 2 locals rather, with Kelly Ice, Miraidon, Grimmsnarl. And I realized that they work pretty well together, like not the Grimmsnarl. I'm just not a Grimmsnarl player. I don't know what that guy is doing over there. But it makes sense, I guess, with Leech Seed and that very bulky Miraidon. And technically, I played 1 cup with a very fast Miraidon, trying to play speed ties and stuff, and one with this, I would call it the Adi Miraidon, I mean, Adi was the one who popularized this, not bulky Miraidon, but specs bulky Miraidon, I would say, like super bulky Miraidon. And I liked the super bulky Miraidon way, way more. And then we didn't really prep after the weekend with the locals. So 5 days after, we realized, okay, we need to prep. It's Friday. Guys, Friday evening, we don't have a team. We should do something. And then in the original team, we had Iron Hands, but we wanted to have the fastest fake out in the world. And Iron Hands, even with a jolly nature, sometimes is slower than Rillaboom. And that's why we didn't put in Tinkaton, because Tinkaton doesn't help us type-wise, but we put in Incineroar. And we changed Scarf Urshifu to Band Urshifu, because Scarf Urshifu is a big fraud in Regulation I. That's all that I can say.
I think you did play against faster fake outs. You were not looking nearly high enough. Electric Seed Sneasler. I think that's just about the fastest fake out. I think you were not thinking creatively enough.
Well, that do be right, but Sneezer without Dire Claw is not a real Sneezer.
Right. I know. I mean, what is it even doing at that point? Gunk shot? I don't even care about the accuracy. Like, I just want to be able to put my opponents to sleep. I know you can't do that.
I mean, if your Gunk shot has a 100% poison rate, why not play Gunk shot then? Right?
True. I did catch that in the games. That was brutal. So yeah, I guess talking about the team here, I think that the main decisions that people look at, because we've seen Leech Seed kind of catching on. We saw it do well in Japan. We saw some players use it in Milwaukee, even like Darsh, and I think the choices here that probably interest people the most are the slower Urshifu and Landorus. So what exactly motivated you to make those guys so slow exactly, besides having a lot of bulk?
So when we had hands on the instance slot, and we also tried Ursaluna on the Landorus slot, this meta doesn't have any fairy resists. So an opposing Miraidon with Specs, Terra Fairy, Dazzling Gleam would just go through the team without any problems. And that's why we decided to put in a Terra Poison Landorus, because Terra Poison Landorus naturally matches up very well into Miraidon, because if they lock themselves into Draco, you have your own Miraidon, you can abuse it with Kelly Eyes, and they have to click Draco first. Who clicks Draco onto Landorus, which can also protect, which can switch out? We have a fairy type. We technically, as I said, with Terra Fairy, we have 2 fairy types. So nobody really wants to click Draco with Miraidon, right? And this is where Landorus really helps out a lot, especially because this Landorus has a ton of SPDF investment to survive a Specs Draco behind Light Screen, as well as an Assault Vest or Choice Scarf Draco without Light Screen, which is so crazy and that won us so many games, especially with Taunt. This Landorus was just very, very good into the regional winning team from Milwaukee. Because you can shut down Trick Room and White Guard from Lunala, and the Landorus cannot get OKO'd by anything but the Ursh. But if they have the Ursh on the field next to our Miraidon, yeah, they just get KO'd. So that is pretty cool. And our Ursh is also very slow, and it has 2 reasons why the Landorus and Urshifu are slower than the Incineroar. First, if all 3 of your Pokemon have like the about same speed stat, if one of your Pokemon is faster than, like, for example, a Ho-Oh, your other 2 Pokemon are probably faster than it as well. I mean, if the slowest Pokemon Urshifu is faster, then you guaranteed know that the other 2 are faster as well. But it can also work the other way around. And another nice interaction is if you have this fast knockoff, especially against these Terrapagos teams, it is so annoying. Like, a Choice Band Urshifu is so very good here, but if they switch out into Amoonguss and you Surging Strikes into that slot, suddenly you are in range for Astral Barrage, for Terra Starstorm, and all that stuff. But if you just double up the slot with knockoff Surging Strikes, suddenly the Amoonguss takes 70% of health, like it drops to 30, and you don't take any Rocky Helmet damage. So that is a very sweet interaction. And you can also knock off Assault West as well. Like, for example, Iron Hands can survive Earth Power into Flare Blitz, especially if Incineroar maybe gets intimidated. But if your Incineroar is faster, you can just go for knock off Earth Power and KO every Iron Hands. So that is a pretty nice interaction as well, and that's why we decided to go that way.
Yeah, another one that I know that there's so many strengths to this that some of them you might even like forget for a sec, but you also can U-turn the Shadow Shields, right? Before the rest of your Pokemon hit that Lunala, so you're just using the weak attack to break the shield and then strong attacks afterwards. That was a really cool combo that I saw you guys pull off in some of your stream games. So yeah, a lot of things looked really, really impressive with Incin faster than the big, strong attackers.
Exactly. And that's like, the cool part is that both of these not fast, but strong attackers, they work very well in Trick Room. Obviously, you don't have Trick Room set up every time, but this is again where screens and T-Wave can also help out or fake out and intimidate support, because you don't win by outspeeding your opponent. You just win by outbulking them and just hitting back harder. So that is pretty cool.
Yeah, this is I don't know. I guess let's bring it back to like the overall metagame, because we saw something similar from the Tangs when obviously it was Andrew Ding that ended up winning the tournament, but Shilyang built a very similar idea for Milwaukee. And it seems like, I don't know, this is the closest thing to stall, I guess, in VGC that we're seeing. You know, it's not quite stall, not quite like the recover spam that you see in singles or whatever, but like this defensive takeover in Regulation I is definitely not something that I think I saw coming into the metagame at the very least. What do you think?
Well, I gotta say that this team doesn't play as defensive as it looks, even though with screens. Maybe it's because I didn't use screens that much, but my games weren't that long if I think about it. So I think almost no games, like the finals was very long, but just very, very, very few games were longer than 10 turns.
Michael, if you can hear us, let us know.
Strengths of Leech Seed Calyrex that much.
1 second, Michael. If you could restart your sentence. You said your games were not longer than 10 turns, and then it cut off, but you're back now. Help.
Okay. Test. Okay, nice.
Good.
So yeah. So my games were not longer than 10 turns most of the time, which is a little sad because that doesn't showcase the strengths of Leech Seed Calyrex Ice, because usually Leech Seed Calyrex Ice, just like Ferrothorn and Celesteela, they really like to play these very, very long games. But in this tournament, maybe it was not the right tournament environment. And as I said, I didn't use Grimsnar that much, so that's why I think the team can definitely also play very, very, very long games, as we saw in the final, especially game 1. But most of the games were actually not that long, unfortunately.
We've seen Urshifu win a good amount of these tournaments and still, but I think that it is much easier to keep Urshifu in check in this format, with the bikes being everywhere. Both Miraidon and Koraidon do a good job of at least giving you options against Urshifu. So that's definitely one thing that I think makes screens feel a lot stronger this time around, and playing a bit of a more defensive approach, especially because there's so many different I don't know, flavors has been my go-to word for describing things lately. It's kind of funny, like, what flavor of Ogerpon do you think this team should use? But anyways, there's a lot of different flavors of offense that you have to be ready for in the Regulation I metagame. Whether that's Ice and Electric from Calyrex Ice and Miraidon, or Fighting and Ghost from a Shadow Rider Zamazenta team. And one of the best ways to deal with that is not exactly trying to figure out the perfect way to figure out the type chart against those. Magnezone and Togedemaru aren't going to save you from Cali Ice and Miraidon. The better answer is to just find a good neutral typing, set up the appropriate screens for damage reduction, and figure out exactly how you're going to position your Pokemon to start swinging back. But I think that that's like largely what screens is accomplishing in this meta. At least that's my take on it. Adi, do you have any thoughts, seeing as you use screens at Milwaukee as well?
Yeah, I have a slightly different take. I just think that screens is like the natural counterweight to all these speed ties, right? It really is just if you like in the past we have speed creep, and you can kind of keep speed creeping over and over again, and you get a little faster and a little faster, but there's pretty clearly defined speed tiers. Here there are no defined speed tiers. There's there are, but all the Pokemon hit the same speed number. And so yeah, it's just like, well, you can't outpace your opponent because they're going to hit the same speed stat and you're just playing coin flips. And so the alternative is you have to go really bulky, but because all these Pokemon hit so hard, you also need screens to facilitate that. And yeah, I think that's it's a little more of if I want to be able to tank these powerful attacks, I need to set screens up, or I need to have some sort of damage mitigation. And if I don't want to tank these attacks, then I have to move first. Which one can I do more reliably? And honestly, maybe now that all of these all of these Miraidon that we see are going much slower, they're going much bulkier with Assault Vest or slow choice packs. Maybe there is more room in that speed tier for you to play an aggressive game where you just say, okay, well, you can click a screen, but I am just going to overpower you. But we haven't seen that playstyle do nearly as well as setting up screens and really just methodically out positioning your opponent, I guess.
I would say that maybe we might see a team that tries to do that well in the finals of Australia, the one that ended up winning. I think that team is maybe a good example of something trying to take that approach as opposed to just leaning into the bulk, trying to capitalize on the opponent's just bulking and relying on Grimsnarl for that bulk. But yeah, Michael, I'm sure that I know you streamed earlier today, kind of breaking down the team, and so if people want to get a further breakdown from it, they can find it.
I didn't talk about the team. I just talked about my run more off. So I didn't talk about any spreads or anything. But
will there be
plan
a
to
team
do that in
report?
the
I was going to say.
future.
Is there plans for it then?
There are plans, but I cannot say when. Probably,
For sure.
definitely not before Toronto. Not Toronto,
Wait,
Portland. My bad.
Portland, right?
Portland.
Yeah, all American cities are the same. I understand.
Yeah, American.
Well, Toronto's not even American, I guess. North American cities. My bad. Anyways. Yeah. So then, yeah, people, if you do have questions for Michael about his team, please do ask him in the chat. But otherwise, we're gonna talk about some of the teams that you fought in your run, and we can talk about them, both through the lens that you played them, but also just talking about the teams. And yeah, the runner-up team, I gotta say it's somewhat boring. I mean, it's just Firewater Grass, Shadow Rider, Zama. But it's still it's doing well, and that's coming off of a very poor performance in Milwaukee. So it's kind of just showing it that it's still got it. And yeah, obviously this was something that you didn't want to face. I think I heard from your interviews, right, Michael?
It's pretty funny because it is actually, I think, the very same version as the first Victory Road winning team. Like we had a Victory Road tournament with, I think, 300 players in Regulation I, and this was the team that won it all. And people soon after said, okay, it is not good. It is just early meta bait kind of, and now it performed well again, which is a little sad to see because yeah, you heard it right. Our matchup into that is not amazing. At least there's no Chiempao. Chiempao would make it even worse. But CSR, Zama, in Cinderella is still something you do not want to face because if you guess one turn wrong, like I attacked a lot of times into protect. Lewis played it really well. But if I try to make a read and when he doesn't protect, it spirals out of control. And so I had to keep the Shadow Rider somehow in check, but then also the other threats. So that's why I also do not recommend using our team at that point because Shadow Rider Zama is not fun to play against, like every Shadow Rider Zama version. And especially after this result now as well, it is still, even though it performed not great at Milwaukee, it is still one of the most feared restricted duos. And that's why we tried to make a tournament call. But Ibrahim, for example, he lost 3 times. All 3 losses were against Shadow Rider. I beat all the Shadow Riders, but that's because either my opponents misplayed like crazy or they I had to make multiple hard reads to get into certain positions. So yeah, Shadow Rider Zama, not amazing.
But
Yeah.
a good team.
Go ahead, Adi.
You say that, but there's only like, I don't know. It is interesting. I'm not surprised it bounced back in Europe, especially because this is like this and the Shadow Rider Tropica's team both did fairly well, but there's only 2 CSR Zama in top cut. There were a couple more in top 32 that just barely missed out on top cut. But yeah, like there were not as much CSR Zama as I thought. I really thought someone would come in and crack it. You're right. This is literally the same team as the team that won the first Victory Road Tour. I think they changed the Terra type, like a Terra type, and that's it. And so it really is. But Lewis is a player who last format I know used one CSR team the entire format. He used it in NPA and he went I think 6-0 in NPA and never changed his team once. And I think he got what top 4 or top 8 at Stockholm, was it?
Top 8 at Stockholm, yeah.
Yeah, he had a really good run with that team. So I think on some level, he's the type of player who picks a team and sticks with it and just plays really well when he's very comfortable with the team. And this is the first really good team of the format that fits his play style, and he ran away with it. I don't know if this team specifically has the staying power. I mean, I think that we're going to keep seeing different CSR Zama variants come and go, but like I don't know. It feels like it's kind of a grab bag where you have 4 slots and you have 7 Pokemon you want, and you kind of have to pick and choose your matchups. Maybe that's true of every team this format, but I'm sure he was also looking at the matchup spread and saying, there's some holes with this team, but I'm just gonna roll with it in the same way that you did.
Yeah, I think what stands out to me is that, as for me, the Sun matchup, the Koraidon matchup is really, really bad for this exact 6. Like, Rillaboom, Instant, Shifu, Ogerpon all do not like to face down Koraidon, and your only damage dealer against that is CSR. But if they also have a B-Booster Flutter main, right, it can get really, really tough. Or that, yeah, it is almost unplayable, but there's no Koraidon anywhere in Utrecht. Like, I think the best placing Koraidon, not even restricted combination, just Koraidon itself is top 64.
Yeah, I believe
I think there was
wow, yeah,
Duck Pond.
Yeah. So that is crazy. I guess the same kind of scenario that happened at Milwaukee with CSR Zama. Now people think Koraidon is bad. Koraidon will pop off in Portland, and then people will say, I don't know, Miraidon is bad. Now Miraidon will never be bad. Let's be honest, but that's how the meta changes.
Right, it is kind of funny that way. And so actually, I want to bounce back to 2 questions we had in the chat for you, Michael, because I was asking for them, of course. And so this person says, how did you decide or start with that you wanted to use these 2 restricted, Ice Rider and Miraidon?
Okay, I said to myself, I never ever am I going to bring Miraidon to a regional, because in Regulation G, I played 2 locals with Miraidon. It was, I remember I talked with Wajan right before Indianapolis about Miraidon, and then he won the whole thing with it, and I tried his team out in a local, went 1-3, okay, happens. Then I go to the next local with my own Miraidon team, I perform terrible again. Like, these were my 2 worst locals. And every time I play Miraidon, then I tried Miraidon for the first time again in NPA against Fede Campo, I lose. Like, every single time I touch Miraidon, I lose. But when we made a matchup, like, not chart, but we wanted to figure out what is actually the best restricted. What matches up. So, which restricted could you technically bring into every single matchup? And it is Miraidon. Like, you can literally bring Miraidon whenever you want. I don't know how many counters a team, like, how many Pokemon can actually counter Miraidon on one team, which still make the team solid, right? So I think Miraidon is definitely the best restricted, and so I've kind of forced myself into using Miraidon because it is actually the best. So we as a group said, okay, we have to use Miraidon. And Kelly Ice, we all had some practice with Kelly Ice after Stockholm especially. And it just fits our playstyle. This very bulky, but also very offensive Pokemon. And obviously Miraidon Kelly Ice is one of the best course itself, but the call we made was just 1 week earlier. Before we were on Koraidon Lunala, but we all saw it coming that Koraidon Lunala, it's over. I think Koraidon Lunala is literally, this is the early meta bait. Like, I think maybe people are not innovative enough and they just slap their Boop on it, their Fluttermane, their Chiyu on it, but at least for me, it's over with them. And what was the other question?
Yes, the next question was, how was the matchup against Kyogre? I guess maybe you could talk about it specifically in the one that you played against, but I imagine they might be asking in general, regardless.
Um,
But
yeah,
yeah, you did play
that's
against one, I think. Just one? Yes.
yeah. I mean, we theorized about Kyogre a lot because usually I would always run Terra Fire on the Kelly Ice because with Terra Fire you can easily stand in front of Rillaboom Shadow Rider, Incineroar. But if you're Terra Water, you get a weakness to Wood Hammer. Also against Miraidon, Farigiraf. Volt Switch Foul Play always is a pin into you. If you are Terra Fire, with Light Screen, you also survive Electro Drift Foul Play. You survive Helping Hand Electro Drift. So against a Farigiraf Miraidon lead, you can just click Light Screen Glacial Lens and get a good damage trade-off, kind of. And in the end, we thought, wait, Kyogre looks very annoying to our team as of now because it outspeeds everything but Miraidon. And if they have just another restrictive that friends Miraidon, I guess there is one restrictive that was very popular in 2022, which is played on Kyogre teams, kind of. So that's like for Zacian Kyogre, we figured out we needed Terra Water. We didn't expect to face any, and I think none of us, like we had 60 sets in the entire weekend, and none of us faced a Kyogre Zacian. But better safe than sorry. You can never predict the meta, and that's why we played Terra Water in the end. It also has some nice other applications like resisting Urshifu, but nobody ever brought Urshifu against me, and I played against like 7. But Terra Water also is pretty good into other Zacian stuff, which is not like Zacian Miraidon, but that's not a real core, to be fair.
Yeah, no, nobody should use Swordfish as a Miraidon Ice Rider player myself. I think that Swordfish is probably like bottom, like there's like 300 something restricted combinations, and it's definitely bottom 10. Like I would not even bother.
Agree.
It's worse than Zekrom Miraidon. It's worse than Necrozma plus Kyurem. You know, just don't even do yourself a favor and don't even bother looking at anything like this. Did Michael share all the EVs? Yes. He retweeted it. Ibrahim, I believe, tweeted out the actual paste. But the team is also here on screen. If you want to just take a quick screenshot, or again, Michael's Twitter is also on screen, so you can go there and find it. But yeah, let's go back
Do you
to
think
talking.
this Eric team? You just opened Eric Legroup's
Right.
team. Would you say that is the best version of Swordfish currently, or yeah, Adi, you were laughing. What do you think?
I mean, the best version of Swordfish is like saying the shiniest turd, like it doesn't mean
I
very, like,
guess.
yeah. So about the specifics of this team, we've seen this sort of team float around. We've seen it with Zamazenta over Zacian as well. But pretty much these same 6 Pokemon. I think maybe the Iron Hand slot changes. But if you look at, I think Andy Brophy was posted the win rates of all the different restricteds in a really nice chart. And I was looking at that, and Swordfish once again just has like the worst win rate, like the worst conversion rate. It is just consistently, the metrics show it as like the worst popular combination of restricteds. And I mean, kudos to
Zacian's fault or Kyogre's? Oh, my bad.
I think it's Zacian's fault. I really do. I think Kyogre is pretty strong, and it has synergy with, not only Zacian, but also we see a Kyogre Zamazenta in top cut. We saw, I think, Kyogre Miraidon, I think, was what you lost to, if I recall correctly. And I think that Kyogre Calyx Shadow probably has a place in the world. Calyx Ice Rider with Kyogre is like a real combination. So like Kyogre does have some cool synergies with a lot of different restricteds, and it does do quite a bit. But the Zacian, just, I don't know. I just feel like it's not doing enough. It's not supporting it enough, and maybe and I don't think there's another combination that really uses Zacian to its full effectiveness. The one thing I will say about Zacian that maybe gives me hope for it, and maybe these two are both individually good Pokemon and just need to be separated. Zacian is one of the very few outlets of fairy type damage. You were talking about how there's so few fairy resist this format, and so That is the one like justification for using Zacian is you just get to throw out big old player off Solgate game. But yeah, I don't know. It's just that combination again. You see it on screen, right? It's a 40% win rate, and then when you adjust for how good the opponents are, it goes down. It goes to 45%. It's really like it really was a big underachiever. And other than Koraidon, I think it was the biggest underachiever this tournament, despite getting a top 8 finish.
It's just so funny. How do you underachieve when nobody even believes you in the first place? Like, that's crazy.
Yeah, I mean, why would you even play? Why would you even want to have play rough if you can have Dazzling Gleam on your almost as fast restricted, but that restricted also has Volt Switch and Electro Drift.
And it
Right, and that's the other like frustrating part is that all these Miraidon, all these Miraidon are going bulky, so you really want to be able to you also go bulky and match that, especially when you are because you're not going to be taking Okos on these Zacian on these Miraidons if they set a screen up or something or they Terra or whatever. But you can't because you still have to hit at the minimum 207 speed, 206 speed. You can't really afford to go slower than that. And so you're still not really getting to take a full advantage of the speed stat because you're wasting those speed points every time you face a Miraidon that's not max speed.
Adi, when you said you still have to hit, I actually thought your sentence was going in a completely different direction because I thought you were going to say you still have to hit those play roughs and those origin pulses.
Like that too, right? It's just you're using an inaccurate move when you could be using a more accurate move. And when you're in the world of glacial lances and astral barrages and electro drifts.
No, you're thinking so small-minded, Adi. We're in a world of Draco meteors and leech seeds. They both can miss. They both can miss plenty. Did you miss any leech seeds this weekend, Michael?
I missed one, and it was very frustrating because it was on a Zamazenta. I was still able to win the set, but it got super stressful after the miss.
Right. It is so funny how badly that could swing a game, it's just leech seed, but you're like, I need this health. I need to motivate them to switch out or something. Like,
yeah.
Okay.
It was also to put it into electro drift range because the sad thing about this bulky Miraidon is that most Zamazenta actually survive an electro drift from this kind of Miraidon. It's just something to keep in mind because that was not really the case in Reg G. Every Miraidon pretty much one hit KO'd every Zamazenta in electric terrain. Not anymore. Because Zamazenta are going bulkier and Miraidon are going weaker. So that's a trade-off.
Let's actually move on to one of the other teams in top 4. I guess, Alexander, congratulations to you, but we've already covered that. So let's go ahead and talk about the Hoj team here. Like it's funny because I don't know, if you know Hoj is going to the tournament, like probably like most of the team, there's probably going to be an Ursaluna, there's probably going to be a Sneasler at this point, and a Miraidon. But sticking to what he knows and doing it well. This is using it's a restricted combo that I still have as like, maybe barely on the edge of top 10. But like it's performances like this that make you have to still consider respecting it, whether it's like this team or the team that Joe used with Ditto. They both play very differently, and it's just, I don't know. I mean, I think the main thing is it's not something that you consider as much when you're going to a tournament, what matchups you need to have mastered. And so I definitely think that you can catch people off guard by being more familiar with how the matchup's supposed to be played than your opponent by using a restricted combo like this.
I'm honestly just way too confused because seeing Miraidon and Ursaluna and a Farigiraf, but then the Farigiraf doesn't have Helping Hand, okay, that's one thing.
Right.
But then we've also got the Ursaluna Blood Moon, which is actually mint speed, but it doesn't hit the 49 speed stat. So it doesn't really benefit from the Tailwind, but it is also like not the best Trichome attacker with Calyrex Ice, Hands, and Ursaluna running around. So, and then I'm like, okay, you have this Tornadus, so you set up Tailwind for Zamazenta and Miraidon. Like, it looks just so weird, but Nikolai was able to go 10-1 in Swiss as well, not just 9-2, but 10-1. I think he finished second seed. And I don't know how, because that team looks, and to me at least, it looks a little inconsistent. But as you said, if you know how your own mons play, and if you have all the practice across, like not just this regulation, but the past 10 regulations,
True.
kind of, you get a feeling on how to play that. But it seems so weird.
Yeah, it's definitely one of those like hyper offense teams where if you get all your targets right, it probably can go your way. Adi, sorry I cut you off. Go ahead.
No, I think you're right. I think it's so much of it is comfort. We're still like it. I know we've been playing this format for almost a month and a half now. If you've really been grinding it, but it still is early format. We are still learning how to play this format, and that means that in lieu of trying to crack the metagame and build a brand new team that's really good, just adapting the team that you are very comfortable with has again. I think that we saw Lewis do it and get second, and I think we saw it again with Nikolaj and get top four. These guys are using teams that they are fairly comfortable with, that they have the ability to outplay their opponents, and they're very good players, and they are just saying that, my opponent's teams are not refined enough to beat me when I'm playing at my best. That is maybe more true for Lewis, where Nikolaj also has the benefit of having a team that no one is really expecting to face. And it probably does have like some wonky matchups, but I also think it's kind of a modes team where like you have to kind of pick the mode and commit to it, right? If you're bringing Torn, you probably don't want to bring your Ursa Luna. If you're bringing for Rigoraph, you probably don't get to bring Torn. Like, there's only so many combinations of Pokemon that you can bring together. And so, yeah, I don't know. It's just like it's a team that you have to be very confident in and very comfortable with your decisions when you're making it, because you don't have much room for error when you're playing a team like this. Now, I will say, I also think this team is bad, but I was looking at his schedule, and I noticed that his other loss was to Aurelian, who was using my team, and I had beaten Joe at the tournament using Miraidon Zamazenta. So I think that the team might just have a bad Miraidon Ho-Oh matchup. But I also think in general, it has a bad Miraidon matchup. It just doesn't do very much into opposing Miraidon. So I don't know.
Adi, you did kind of launch us into the next thing I wanted to talk about, which is just that. I mean, it is the next team in line, but Miraidon Ho-Oh, it was an archetype that we had like kind of like top 6 or so going into Milwaukee, and then leaving Milwaukee. That seemed accurate. Well enough, but I was like thinking still, like, as much of a believer I was in the duo, I didn't think it would cling to it that tightly. I thought that, it could definitely fade away, like just maybe due to popularity, if anything. Sorry, lack of popularity. And getting 3 top 32 finishes here, 1 top 8, 1 top 16, 1 top 32. Actually, no, 4. I didn't even realize. Yeah, the Okidogi one, of course. How could I forget? But from the other Aurelian, 2 Aurelians teaming up and deciding, I'll run it a bit more of a normal way, and you can do your silly Okidogi thing. This actually is just Adi. The team is just like a bear swap and a hand swap for the other beefcake assault vest Pokemon you could run. That's awesome. Oh my god.
Yeah, I mean, people are calling Iron Hands a fraud, so why not find yourself a better replacement like Okidogi?
Dude.
This seems cool because it has Roar on the Farigiraf, which is something that we considered but didn't end up using. But you can, Draco, side Roar, stuff like that, which is really cool. It had Psychic Fangs on the Farig, yeah.
I do genuinely think a team like this hates to see Okidogi coming. Like, I don't know. If you want to switch in Incineroar every turn, have your Hearth Flame, like, Dogi is just going to be eating it up.
Well, if your Dogi just gets double tapped by Psychic Body Press.
Psychic, you do gotta watch out for that. You gotta watch out for the Psychic. If only, I don't know, if it had some kind of ability that could make it immune to Psychic or something, it would be perfect. But there's nothing there for it. Guard Dog's pretty fun. Okay, I got lost.
I'm still a little confused. But like, I think Aurelian Solar is one of the first players. Like, when I was looking through Milwaukee, getting some inspiration of Miraidon teams, every single Miraidon team or maybe just not one, but other than that, like every single Miraidon team in top 128 had either Grimmsnarl or Farigiraf.
Right.
And this team has both, which is super interesting. So it is kind of your team, Adi, but with Farigiraf over.
I had a Farigiraf.
What?
Yes.
Oh, you had also both?
This is
Wait,
just
is
Nadi's
that
team.
just
This
your
is just
team?
Nadi's team.
This is exactly my team.
Okay.
There are no changes to it.
Yeah, we farmed that. Like Alexander in top 16 farmed that. And I also had a really good matchup into Heng Yue. Henye,
Mhm.
I think that's how it's pronounced. And I think I still do not believe in Miraidon Ho-Oh being real. Even though it had some good finishes in Milwaukee, now it has good finishes again. It will stick around, but it will never get higher than top 8.
I mean, I'm not going to fight you too hard on it. I think it's just like a solid team and like maybe not quite a tournament winning archetype, but also I don't know, the repeated performances are pretty solid. And you know, I guess if it's not having as many Koraidons to farm, that will definitely hurt it. Like it does enjoy that Ho-Oh has a really good matchup into that one. And Shadow Rider Zama is the other archetype that Ho-Oh wants to farm. So it really depends largely on how much it's targeting that. We're seeing that Miraidon is actually the best restricted in the format instead of what we originally thought might be Shadow Rider. And so Miraidon being number 1 and you being completely full walled by it isn't an amazing start. Can that be solved in the builder? Definitely. But you're already starting at a bit of a deficit against literally threat number 1 Miraidon. So
yeah. I do think that one of the things that this team has going for it is maybe that it has the most resources available. Because both me and Joey put out team reports, and so you had a lot of information going into the tournament about how to play the team, just and EV spreads and all that stuff at your disposal to make decisions. Right. And so I think that probably helped a lot of people pick it up. But I agree, I don't know if it has the staying power. With regards to the Landorus Therian, that someone pointed out in chat,
dude,
I do want to bring that up because I mentioned Landorus Therian in the Ursaluna slot in my team report. Because I thought it might help with the Roshan and I tested it. We were thinking it might help with the Tang matchup.
I hated
not
that
this
guy,
set,
dude.
but it wasn't good, right? We ended up switching off of it, right? But
right.
but it was a fun idea, and I got a DM or I got a YouTube comment. I think it was a YouTube comment from someone saying like, "Hey, I want to use your team, but I don't have an Ursaluna. Like, do you think Landorus is playable?" I don't know if this is the person, but it is cool to see that someone actually did try end up using the Landorus, which does solve some problems in a creative way. I don't still think it's very good, but I'm glad someone tried it out and found some success with it.
Let's talk about the next team here really quick in top 8, and then we'll finish it up in a sec. This one can pass over very quickly. I do believe this is 5 out of the same 6 we see get runner-up in Australia that we'll come back to later.
I think it's the exact same team with same sets and everything.
Flutter.
Actually, no, Flutter. Yeah. True.
But
wait.
Yeah. Other than that, like it is just like such a bore of a team. I'm sorry. I'm gonna trash this every time it shows up on my screen. Like if you have fun clicking Calm Mind, Fake Out, Protect U-Turn, Calm Mind, Fake Out, Protect Parting Shot, Calm Mind, Fake. Like I have questions about like what do you
wanna? Sorry.
Go ahead. No, you go ahead, Michael. I would love to hear what you want to say.
If you really want to farm this kind of team, you can run our team. Like this is an 90-10 matchup. It is pretty much impossible to lose. So we beat them every time. I beat Juan Garcia, and Alexander also beat it in top cuts. So it is just the team is everywhere, and I'm a little surprised that it performs well. I think it just has a solid matchup. Matchup.
Tang team.
No, just matchup.
Roulette.
Spread.
Okay.
Yeah, a solid matchup spread across the board. But it is not going to win tournaments, in my opinion, because, in my opinion, you should go for extreme matchup spreads. Go for some auto losses, but also go for some auto wins. Like teams that you expect, going for auto wins there is something I really recommend.
I think that's probably some of the best advice you're gonna get on this is targeting the metagame has value. You can go for a safe pick and get a safe finish, or you can pick something that has the chance to explode, to go all the way. Sometimes you gotta take that risk.
I don't know, man. Lewis got second place. He was pretty close. He,
That's true. That's
with,
true.
with about as safe a team as you can ask for.
Right.
No, but I the one thing I will push back on is that if you go back to the stats that we had for win rates, and we talked about this after Milwaukee, this is the team, this Terapagos Calric Shadow team that had the highest overall win rate out of any team. Now, part of it is I think it's a very high floor team. It is very easy to play. It's hard to mess up. It does have a match. It has a playable matchup into everything. If you are a better player than your opponent, usually you will have the room to outplay them, and that is very appealing to a lot of players. I do agree that it's unfun to play, and I also think that like it is a team that you can tech for pretty easily. But it does, and so in some ways, that makes it very comparable to like Dondozo teams in the past, in non-restricted formats in a lot of ways, because they have a lot of the same traits in terms of win rates, in terms of playability. But yeah, I just think like this is a team that if you feel like going 7-4, you should queue up this team. Is really my take. And I don't really.
That's
feel
what
like
I'm here
7-4,
for, dude.
so.
I don't want to go 7-4 though. Me personally, guy like me. Anyways, I will push back on one thing. I wanted to see how many there were here, because there are quite a few that got points. It does seem like it's a low pick rate. Like I think we saw Terapagos didn't make the top 8. Maybe it was just day 1 of the like usage for restricteds. I guess I should be able to see it here. Oh, this is for championship points though, right? So yeah. But still, like, it's a below Kyogre, Ho-Oh. Like, it's just not being picked by that many people, but the people that are picking it are relatively solid with it. Or like you said, it's like a high ceiling or maybe high floor. I don't know. Like, basically just like as long as you know high floor, it'll just farm people that don't know exactly what they're supposed to be doing into it. If you want to warm your chair, go for it. Is fire, dude. I love that. No. If you want to do more sitting than standing, yeah. Oh my god. That's a good way to put it. And so yeah, the last team in top 8 here, and then we'll just kind of cover the interesting ones, because there definitely are still some interesting ones. Konban Kan here had the Miraidon Lunala pick, but kind of going back to what we saw, I think Seawolf Mike used something relatively close to this. It was the Psychic Lunala, not committed to doing bear stuff, instead having a Whimsicott Tailwind mode. I think there was a Chi-Yu and maybe a different flavor of Urshifu, but still very similar to what we saw back then in that like VR tour or whatever.
That's an uncanny memory. Like that's very good. That is actually right though. Yeah, it had Chi-Yu over Entei.
I remember teams very well.
And
I like
Rapid Strike over Single Strike, yeah.
That's why I said different flavor of Urshifu, different flavor.
Yeah.
So yeah. But otherwise, I guess then that doesn't mean there's a whole lot to say about this team besides that, it can still do it. It can still do pretty well with it. So Entei's cool. Entei's cool. You know what, Michael? You would think I'm a bigger fan of Entei too, considering we're going to be talking about Portland at the very end here, and I won Portland with Entei on my team. But I don't know. He was just kind of I don't know. I don't have that strong feelings about my
Entei is just
Portland
a guy, unfortunately.
My Portland team, like I just have no attachment to any of those Pokemon besides Dragonite. Like they're all just like they were just like soldiers ready for battle. Like they were not my favorites. I was not winning with my favorites. Pow's okay. I think Pow's cool. Are you a Pow fan?
Yeah, Pow got me a lot of money.
That's true. Pow, but that feels like it's more of like a soldier for battle than it is like a Pokemon you like for merit. Oh my god. Okay, so next up, the team. We talked about it. We did already go over this one a little bit, but yeah, still Kyogre, Miraidon doing really well. I did say that Kyogre was like, it not like being suspect tested like you would see in like singles for the weekend, for this weekend, I was basically just like, if Kyogre can't perform this weekend, I think that is just dead in the water. They'd had a very good showing in Japan Nats, and I thought that people would, use that as a reason to flock to it, and I would say it had enough of a showing here that, maybe it can still have some hope in the rest of the format. Being the 11-0 is pretty strong. We see here a 1 at 9 and 2, and I think there were several others. Let's go ahead and pull up Kyogre in general. But yeah. Oh yeah, no, it did get top 8. I don't know why I glossed over it when I saw it in the top 8. So yeah, Kyogre had a good enough finish here that it can still hold its own in Regulation I. What do you think, Michael?
Yeah, two things about the Nekoma team that are pretty interesting. Obviously, the Thunder on the Miraidon, with a modest nature as well. He released his paste. So if you want to check it
Right.
out, you can obviously also do that. Um, like Thunder with modest nature. Some Zamas are just elite for Electro Drift, and then there's this max special attack Thunder. I mean, if you hit super effectively, you KO them anyway. So the side effect of Electro Drift is literally whatever. I've never seen
Yes.
anything surviving in super effective Electro Drift from Specs Miraidon. So
Maybe Ho-Oh.
playing Thunder.
No terrain Ho-Oh? Maybe no
Mm,
terrain Ho-Oh? Calca's right later. We don't have time for Calca's right today for sure, but regardless.
but
Go ahead, Michael. Continue. I didn't mean to
yeah.
cut you off.
And yeah, like the way, like in the very last Swiss round, he played against me, and in game 3, and that's why I'm a big Thunder believer. He led with Miraidon Kyogre, and his Miraidon outsped my Miraidon. I clicked Terra Fairy, and he just clicked no Terra, Thunder Water Spout, paralyzed my Miraidon, KO'd my Miraidon with Water Spout, and I was like, it was a good play, and that's why Thunder can actually be very real. And yeah, it's not max special attack, but 196 modest is very close to
Right.
max special attack. And the team again looks a little weird, only having one protect. I'm a protect sucker, repositioning myself. This team is not about repositioning, but just about winning fast. But I don't know. It's certainly has a certain flavor to it. And I mean, he played 4 out of the 6 months at Worlds as well, finished 8-3 at Worlds. So again, it's a comfort pick. And we already said it multiple times that going for comfort pick in the early meta is probably always the best thing to do.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I mentioned this earlier. I think that Kyogre has better partners than Zacian. I think this is the best Kyogre team I've seen so far. It hits on the sort of metagame weakness to just going fast, hitting hard. That I think is probably something that you could do a little more of right now. That maybe there's some room for. And this team goes really fast and hits really hard. We saw max speed timid Kyogre. And let me tell you, like, if you lead Serena Kyogre and they don't have something that's faster than 156 speed, which a lot of teams like kind of don't right now, and you just click Helping Hand Spout, the game's over, man. So often the game just ends. And so I think this team is really cool. And I think this is like the way that what is really capitalizing on Kyogre's strengths by playing a very hyper offensive style of play.
Right. This is that blow you up with aggressive offense that we were talking about that is maybe the way to weather the storm against heavy defense, I guess. So yeah, someone mentioned in the chat while we're on the topic of Kyogre, Oliver Ackerman here running Shieldfish. I think Shieldfish is still pretty cool. And this one, funnily enough, is running Thunder on the Kyogre. I gotta say, Thunder and Kyogre in a Miraidon meta can get really scary when they start using your terrain against you. Like, you suddenly you're just like, wait. Why is that Thunder doing, over half to, XYZ Pokemon? Like, that is supposed to be like a coverage move, but now it's not even super effective and it's doing some serious power. And yeah, I mean, you already got ice coverage on the team with the Chien-Pao, so I kind of get it. It means that it's gonna help Kyogre cover for those defensive Terra Waters that it often forces out of the opponent. Terra Water on your Ice Rider might get you in some trouble if you're setting up Electric Terrain for them and they're clicking Thunder into you. That's pretty funny.
Yeah, speaking of which, Adi mentioned teams that do not have a mon that's faster than 156. In the chat, a team got asked. It also made top 16, Giuseppe Musicio. I guess there's a cornerstone, but like that team is slow.
Right.
This is. I guess it has 2 Trick Room users. It's not like hard Trick Room, but it also looks just weird. I mean, it's your common instant Amoonguss Terrapagos, but like, what?
I know.
I don't know where to start.
I saw maybe an early version of this on Ladder at some point, or at least I saw somebody else using Ice Rider
Yeah,
Terrapagos.
Giolio used that as well on in
GC got
in
second.
Utrecht. Yeah, he got second in the GC, but then he finished 4-4 in Utrecht.
Right.
But Giuseppe finished top 16. So maybe it's just a high variance team. You gotta face the right matchups. I don't know.
I don't know. I heard from this guy earlier that you're supposed to pick high variance teams, so maybe it was the right choice. But yeah, anyways, I look at this and I'm like, I don't know what Kali Ice is adding to Terapagos, like that's strong. I think there's a bit of a reverse case, like, you know, Ice Rider naturally doesn't love Shadow Rider, so Terapagos got that on lock. I just don't think Kali Ice does much in return for it. Like, we're talking about, like, Zamazenta is very scary, and usually you see Shadow Rider kind of locking it down, or the Koraidon's even, like, that was another build that some people used, and that's at least somewhat threatening to a Zamazenta. Ice Rider, if it's not the, like, if it was the Leech Seed set, maybe I could be convinced, but it's not. It's high horsepower. Like, I think this looks very scary into Zamazenta, though I imagine they did beat some on their way to get here. And I guess we really haven't talked about Porygon 2 enough, because, like, there is a Porygon 2, it's like the only one in the tournament, but I don't really know what to say about it. Like, it's on a Terapagos team. We already have a really bulky normal type. Why did we need another one?
Yeah, it's so weird because you also have like all these Terra Hogs, like that is the term you call Pokemon that
Yeah, yes, of course.
that want to Terra. I just wanted to explain for the others as well. And like Terrapagos always wants to Terra, Kelly Ice obviously wants to Terra, Incin with a Terra bug, you wanna use it sometimes. Porygon 2 often has to Terra as well. And so I think you rarely bring both Terrapagos and Kelly Ice. And I'm also so impressed. We saw Giuseppe actually on stream against the Kowaidon, and the Kowaidon eats that team. And you might say, okay, he can maybe remove the weather with Terrapagos, but he didn't even use the Terrapagos. Instead, he went for Kelly, like with a bottom 4. And I am still impressed how he pulled it off, but. Do you guys think it's a team that we have to keep in mind from now on, or do you think
Definitely
it's a
not.
one-time
I don't
thing?
know. I don't think people will pick it up. I think people that like Ice Rider teams are going to flock to teams like yours. I think people that like Terapagos teams are going to pick the Shadow Rider ones. I think not many people are going to be like, oh, yeah, I need both. I need both. That is actually exactly what I'm looking for. I don't know. Adi?
I think that there are probably other ways to build Terrapagos that people are not fully appreciating right now. The fact that every Pagos player has picked up CSR Pagos, and again, when it's one team and it's always the exact same team, or pretty much the exact same team, it's pretty easy to build to beat. To check that box in team building. But when you mix it up and it's all of a sudden an Ice Rider instead of a Shadow Rider, and it does different things, and all of a sudden your matchup changes, and maybe you haven't thought about it enough, and maybe that's good enough to win some games you otherwise wouldn't. And so I do think there's room to explore Terrapagos. I don't know if Ice Rider is the route that I would take, but obviously it really worked really well for Giuseppe, and I think that it's cool that he is, taking this concept and trying to do different things with it than what everyone else is doing.
Yeah, that's very fair.
It was so funny seeing that stream game, though, like, before we move on from it. Yeah, it was just only Ice Rider, bench the Pagos, and it just made me wonder, like, because it was against, I think, Robbie, and I was like, Robbie, if you're losing to single restricted Ice Rider, how did you beat any Ice Rider? Like, at all? Like, that's just crazy. Like, imagine if it had a second restricted, like, I don't know. It was funny. I had a lot of questions.
Well,
of course, bringing single restricted is more viable. Go ahead, Adi.
I got news for you. Guess what? Robbie went 0-2 against Ice Rider this tournament. So
yeah, well, okay.
To be fair, in Rec G, Koraidon was always losing to Ice Rider as well.
Right.
It's weird, but maybe because of Terras and Koraidon teams not having the best defensive backbone. So if Trickroom gets set up once, you just get overrolled. I don't know, but it is still very interesting to see.
We definitely can't do a deep dive on all of the teams from this tournament because we want to cover some of the other ones. And so there's only one more that I want to talk about here, besides the fact that Groudon did better than Koraidon. That part always makes me laugh. But it is Jamie's team because, of course, Jamie's doing Jamie things, doing the weirdest things you can possibly imagine. Where did it go?
Average
there it is.
Jamie moment.
Average Jamie moment. I mean, yeah, this team is... truly something. I think that I was talking with ESM and he was saying that, the Assault Vest on the Blood Moon seems pretty cool. I don't know if we believe in Moonblast necessarily. I think, like, even, like, I know that it's a bulky metagame, but I still feel like I like Vacuum Wave, especially, like, having that priority move that can pick off, like, a Sash Shadow Rider. It's good against Gen Pow as well. Like, I don't know. I mean, there's just a lot of situations where having a no immunity priority move to finish off something is going to come up. But... yeah, other than that, like...
Hyper Voice?
Yeah, it's funny that there's no hyper voice. I mean, I kind of support the
No,
snarl, so I'm like,
hypervoice, no way.
I'm kind
Yeah.
of here for it. Honestly, like, sure, whatever. Like,
I mean, what do you snarl? Like, I guess some special attackers again. But for example, Shadow Rider, you can just Blood Moon and not quite one shot, I guess. But Blood Moon into Vacuum Wave would get there again.
maybe, right?
So, but
Funnily
yeah, the
enough, Shadow Rider
Moonblast
does
certainly is-
resist Vacuum Wave, right? Because it's like the
Yeah,
psychic
but I
is
think-
bad.
True.
I think
but-
Snarl is pretty good because you can Snarl Lunalas, and that's pretty good high value. They have to like wide guard on you, which they don't really want to do, and you can also Snarl Miraidons that otherwise might be stuck in an awkward spot where you can just protect Snarl, and they have to decide if they want to click an electric move or not. So yeah, I think that there's some, like, I can definitely see some situations where it's interesting. I don't know. I do think that Hyper Voice is probably bad this metagame. Like, it probably doesn't do nearly enough damage, especially if you don't have a boosting item on yours.
We got spread moves.
Yeah,
We got
things
spread moves
about
covered, like
Terra Normal
discharge
and
and
stuff.
Astral
Yeah.
Barrage, discharge. Like we out there spread moves. I still think discharge is just terrible. I think building any team around it takes a lot of resources to make it happen, and it's just not enough payoff. Like, it's weird. It's weird. I know that it worked for Raj in early G. I'm not a believer ever since then. And yeah, Chestnut. I do think Chestnut, honestly, looking at this move set and the toolkit that it has or whatever, it's typing, I genuinely think that it is probably decent in this metagame. Is it something you put on every team? Not necessarily, but like, we're seeing Leech Seed do well. We're seeing Wide Guard do well. We're seeing like Body Press and Electric Seed. It's got like really good sustain. Like, I believe in the Chestnut to a degree. I don't know exactly what my team would look like that uses it as a Chestnut, because I would not build a team like Jamie, of course. I would maybe try to make it a little more normal, and maybe Chestnut's a Pokemon. It's not a Pokemon you can put on normal teams, but I like the set. The set is cool.
Not to, because I do have a team I want to talk about from Utrecht, to not change the topic. But
Do it.
Paul Ruiz also brought Chestnut to Santiago regionals.
I did see that,
and he went 4-3, so he didn't do nearly as well. But it is notable when two very good players and two very good team builders use the same weird Pokemon the same weekends, right? I think that's always interesting to note.
What's your Utrecht shout? What's the one you wanted to look at?
Oh, okay. Yeah. You got to find the Mewtwo team. It got top 128.
No. Okay,
No.
Mewtwo. Oh, this one. I've been seeing people post
See this
about
on
it.
ladder.
Wait, what?
It's the PP stall team.
Spite.
That's
Life
his
Dew
life
Mewtwo. Pressure.
Spite, Tinglu, Spite,
Wait,
Flutter,
I didn't know Tinglu gets Spite. I'm actually so down. Oh my
Spite,
god.
Whirlwind, Safety goes to... What is happening on my screen?
This is beautiful, dude.
This
Oh my
is
God.
disgusting.
No, that is.
I have
that is
lost this on
awesome.
ladder before. And I know ESM said he did too, so I'm not even capping. It was like 1400s. It was doing pretty well. Yeah.
I want to see what they lost to. They had a win in.
They had a win in it, and they had to be fair, they didn't have the most impressive wins, but they did lose to Aurelian and Joan, who are two very, very
That's
good
funny.
players.
That is funny that their only losses were day twos. Like, at the very least, they lost to competent opponents. But that's crazy to see. Yeah, I'm not gonna go dig it up again because I showed it the other day. But I did have a situation where my Ice Rider and Miraidon, I had like 0 Glacial Lances and 1 Electro Drift at the end of the game against, like, it was not that, it was Ho-Oh. Ho-Oh and Eternatus double pressure stuff, and I'm just like, this could get scary. It was not with Spite though. Spite, maybe I would have been cooked because I would have gotten to like half as many of those moves, maybe even less. Spite is hilarious.
That's one last team I want to highlight because Adrian, that's also a homie of me, had a win in. He finished 8-3 with a restricted duo. I think we haven't seen before. Have we seen Groudonzation? Because Adi was talking about Zacian partners. What could be Zacian partners? Here you are, Groudonzation.
Yeah, Michael, do you think
Assault Vest
Groudon
doesn't work? Try Groudonzation.
Do you think Assault Vest Groudon plus Zacian has ever been good?
I don't. That's a great question. You think Groudonzation has ever been good?
It's specifically Assault Vest too. Where's Shadow Claw? Why does it have Shadow Claw? Max Phantasm would go hard on this team.
Michael, I know you didn't play 2022, right? So, but yeah,
Yeah.
the first thing I think of is just is Rinya's obviously.
Oh
And
yeah, Vineyard.
Charizard,
Yeah,
dude.
yeah,
Charizard's
and-
looking like a fish.
That's just the Charizard. Yeah. I believe it or not, I did have Groudon Station in my builder last week. I was looking at that, and I think the combo, I conceptualized the combination differently. I mentioned like there's no good fairy type moves, and so being able to click fairy type moves is really good. And so I considered it with like a Flutter Mane to go with the Groudon, and get to click Moonblasts and play roughs and just overwhelm your opponent that way. This is also very cool. I think Walking Wake is probably underappreciated. There were a couple that did well this tournament. And with the speed boost, it like actually has a really good speed tier. I don't know if it was this tournament, it was another tournament. But,
No, save the wake talk for later because we're gonna come to it. We're gonna come to it.
Yeah.
Okay. We'll hold off. We'll hold off.
But yeah, I am gonna just force us along because.
Thank you for the raid. I appreciate it. And yeah,
thank you for the
let's
raid.
start talking about the next tournament.
So yeah, so let's go to
one last
Santiago.
thing. Yes. I just want to see what was the best placing tank team.
I thought it got.
It's on screen, right? It's Amin.
Yeah, right here.
Top 16.
No, Amin has a completely like it's AV Instant, it's Specs Miraidon, like this is the Fede Campo team, I think. But like, did anybody pull up with a tank kind of team?
I mean, I'm sure.
Because
absolutely.
This looks about right. Top 64. Okay.
Top 64.
That's not bad.
I don't know. I feel like the choice specs variants are a sort of natural progression, right? It feels like the same team. I mean, it doesn't feel like the same team in the way it plays, but like it does feel like the same. It feels like an evolution of the same team to me.
A side grade.
I was just interested to see because everybody said this is going to be the new Arubega. Like some of people said, not everybody.
No, but your team's going to be the new Arubega. It doesn't have any flaws. It doesn't
not
have
at all.
None. No flaws.
Yeah. For sure.
Speaking of, I mean, we did see the same archetype win, and Max, I hope you're still here in the chat. I saw you around, so congratulations again on winning. And you were my smart money. I did smart money, Max, for this tournament, so got that one right. Don't ask me who I smart moneyed for Utrecht, because I don't actually remember. Yeah, what's wrong with Crunch, dude?
Why not Terra Dark?
No. Why not?
Yeah, true. Facts. Oh my god. But yeah, this team, it has, I mean, some relatively different things going for it. Volcarona is cool with Tailwind. That's not something you see every day, I guess, or every other day is what I was about to say, but you know, either one. But yeah, this I do gotta say I don't like Crunch. I don't like seeing Crunch there. Oh yes, pull up the paste. I can grab the paste because yeah. I thought your tweet explaining the EVs was pretty funny.
Wait, there's Heavy Slam on hands. What does Heavy Slam hit in this format?
I'm always asking that. But to be fair, you can ask Max in the chat here. But yeah, I always like stabs on hands. But this one's good. The paste, weird EV choices. I'm not going to explain them, and I just love you wouldn't get it. Like,
no,
just...
I hate bad EVs. I hate bad EVs.
Oh no! Well, if bad EVs is your trigger, then by the way, guys, you're gonna have to trigger warning skip past to Adi's gonna timestamp it. I'm kidding. Yes. So all the 36s on the Calyrex Ice. I always love when you do all the 36s. Then we've got all the 36s Iron Hands as well.
The Iron Hands EV spread maybe needs some workshopping, but I think the rest of them look fine.
I guess I'm not convinced on the Miraidon, but that's just me. Also, here a Heavy Slam for Lunala is an interesting call because you've got Wild Charge as well, right? And forcing a Terra Fairy, which move can force a Terra Fairy?
Crunch.
Oh,
Crunch.
I forgot.
Yes. That's what it's there
for. Michael, you are so small-brained for not realizing the synergy between Crunch and Heavy Slam. If I have to explain that to you, I don't even know how you're a regional champion. Like, I just don't get it.
Yeah, Crunch, Heavy Slam. I mean, if it worked, it worked.
Absolutely.
I'm not complaining.
Wait. Oh, Juan, I don't speak well enough to translate all of it.
Yeah,
But I do
Terror
know that
Blast was top 5 on the showdown ladder on Champo.
no, I know
And
about Sliverfish. I am Sliverfish using Terra Ground Blast Shadow Rider and Terra Rock Blast Chen Pao. Um, but
oh,
yeah, that one's always silly. Man, I have too many tabs now.
yeah.
Let's
But
see.
the team is pretty cool. As you said, it looks a little different than, for example, my team.
Right.
But it has still some really good tools in the Volcarona. We saw on Dash's team, for example, a
Right.
Quiverdance Volcarona. Here we have a Tailwind Volcarona with a rather fast Ursaluna. And I think a lot of the choices make sense. It's also interesting to see all the 49 guys in
All of
one
them.
team.
Yo, we're gonna grab it
um,
again. Where is it? The
and
49ers.
and none of them is 49.
True, true, true.
So yeah, I think it's a solid team. It looks a little more solid than mine. With you, I think you can change one or two moves and one or two um crunches. I meant spreads. So yeah, but I like the team. Well
Yeah, I think
done,
the team
Max.
is. I think the team is cool. Oh wait, it's over here. Okay, and we were talking about Tang team. You know, the new Arubega. It did get second here. Looks like with a mild change, I guess. Grass on the Ursh. I think it was Ghost originally. But
That's
regardless, though,
interesting.
Kenneth has been having a very good season. I've been seeing Kenneth in quite a few tournaments doing well. So, um, yeah, and then Juan's team here as well very much lines up with what we were seeing in ESM's graphic, which is just pick Shadow Rider Zamazenta and then 4 of these guys. Maybe put Ogrepon in the list. I think ESM might have missed Ogrepon. I should have mentioned that one to him. But regardless, it's just, you know, there was
Yeah.
also that funny conversation earlier
VSR
this
is
week,
crazy.
which was like, what is it? You can tell which players were Zamazenta players versus Shadow Rider players before they came to the team up, you know, and like there's like the Chen Pao ones that are much more like obvious, like, oh yeah, this was like a Zamazenta player, versus the nasty plot Shadow Rider ones. Those are like the okay, this was definitely a Shadow Rider player. Um, yeah,
I
Encore.
do
Yeah.
think
I don't know.
that Juan's team is like probably the standard right now. I think this was popularized by a Japanese player. I've forgotten their
Right.
name, but I know the pace is out there. If you just want to, and I think Juan actually shouted them out in his tweet. So
Right.
I did some digging and I found the pace, so I know it's out there.
Yes.
But yeah, like it's this is like the standard. I've seen a lot of Life 4 POW with Focus Sash Calyrex, with Encore, and it's interesting because normally, you know, these guys, yeah, like you said, Lewis had Nasty Plot. You kind of want a way to punish protects against you, because otherwise your opponent can pretty easily reposition. But when you have Encore, all of a sudden now it's functionally a setup move in a lot of ways. And
In a
so
way. Yep.
yeah, it's cool to see that. And yeah, I don't know. The only thing that's a little different is that it's Terra Normal Calyrex instead of Terra Ghost, which is what I think I normally see. Where the damage boost is really nice at times, but also being able to win the mirror without having to click wide guard is also something
Normal
that I
was
think
on that
is
Japanese players team.
Yeah.
They had Magnet as well in
love
the
it.
Bolt. They were the one that got like 2,000 on the best of one ladder, like with like a really insane GXE or something like that. And I was like, dude, it's another cheater.
That
It's
was
another cheater
them.
again, surely.
Nice.
But no, they I think they were legit.
Yeah, they were. But I love cheaters.
Right, right. I know. The ladder cheaters, it's always fun. You know, the best thing
Yeah.
to do is to cheat on like the ladder or something like that. Use multiple accounts to boost yourself, and then when you get caught, like just post a bunch of rental codes. People love rental codes. And so like everything's forgiven if you just post a rental code. That's honestly like if I ever get canceled for cheating, which you know, I guess I have to cheat first. But once I do, I'll just make sure to, you know, share the team that I was doing well with, because that's everybody. That's all you need. This
Right,
team.
right. When I get canceled for being Australian, I think that's my plan too. Is just post rental codes.
No.
Yeah, that's also a good point.
So this team is, funnily enough, we were looking at something very similar. Robbie had this exact like 6 when we were looking at it earlier, but he didn't have Calm Mind on Lunala. He had Trick Room, and I feel like he just messed up his team sheet or something. I swear to God, like I was looking at that team and I was like, there's just no reason for this. This like I looked at the 6, I'm like, this is surely Calm Mind, and then I opened it up and it has Trick Room on it. And I'm like, what? Calm Mind Lunala is interesting. I would say it's not that much more exciting than a Terapagos team in terms of like gameplay, but like in terms of like how it looks to like my animal brain, I'm like, oh, it's a little different, you know. But like, it is ultimately just the same thing, with a different flavor.
There were also some Miraidon Lunala, like Miraidon, Rillaboom,
That's true.
Instant, Fluttermane,
In
Lunala
Utrecht.
players in Utrecht. So, I mean, Shao, very known French player. He played, for example, Miraidon Lunala. So I think these Carmine Lunala teams always have like Rilla, Instant on their team. Obviously, like, I mean, Lunala, Rilla, Instant, it was finals in Stockholm Rec G, and it's just your Carmine user with Rilla and Instant. Come on, what should we say?
So cool.
You pick your second restricted, and if it's Koraidon, you just put 2 Sun boosters in it. If it's Miraidon, yeah, whatever, man.
Yeah,
I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and the
I
Miraidon
just
version
hate
also
Rilla
got
Instant.
the
What's that,
Miraidon
Daddy?
version also got top 16 at this tournament with Pedro,
Oh.
who I think, yeah, but
Oh,
no,
Yes.
don't you ended your sentence with God, I just hate Rilla Instant. I'm just like, man, I cannot. This is this, I gotta say it. I cannot wait for us to stop being able to put Rilla Instant Urshifu on our teams. The most fun I've had playing Pokemon.
I never did.
We've literally since 2020, we've had about a year cumulatively in the last 5 years where we didn't get to use Rilla, Instant, Urshifu together. And that cumulative year is the most fun I've had playing Pokemon in the 5-year period. It just I hate it. I hate it so much.
Champions save us. Right. Okay.
Why is there Raichu in top 8? Wait a
There's
second.
Raichu. Yes. Because
What?
Michael,
Why
we
are you
needed
doing- what?
we needed a luring voice. Terra Fairy. Terra Fairy luring voice.
Salazama, Terrafire, what do you mean? Darkest Lariat Instant.
Yeah, Lariat.
No.
And also,
No.
I gotta say, I'm curious. Like, it feels like everybody's moved away from Power Herb Meteor Beam. I don't like it much. I think it's very bad. But I'm curious how well it did here. Power Herb, not even one of the most popular items, and yeah, it was just the best finishing Koraidon team.
One in
Also,
day
it was the best
2.
finishing. Yeah. Wait,
Like-
1 in day 2? That's crazy. Okay, this is the best evidence you're gonna see for how bad Meteor Beam is, dude. I think it's so bad. Oh man.
Early meta bait, but yeah, why do 5 out of the 6 Pokemon get Surging Striked? You have an Amoonguss, I guess, and you have a Raichu? Question mark. So
And then this team
yeah.
again. And so yeah, let's go ahead and move on over to the next one. I believe we have Melbourne.
Oh no, Melbourne.
Yeah.
I saw one team, and I will try to not fall from my chair, but this is not the crazy team I mentioned, but
Right. But it's
Hey.
still pretty crazy.
it is. Play rough Weezing. I mean, Weezing has as much attack as special attack. That's something not a lot of players know. I think both are either 80 or 90. I think actually 90.
Actually, I think the special one got a buff. Or sorry, the Galar one got a buff, I think. It might be even on regular Weezing, but maybe Galar is slightly more specially offensive.
I will.
But like close
double
enough.
check.
I think it's comparable. Go ahead and check it out. Regardless, I'll talk about the team here for a second. And so this is what I said when we were going to talk about Wake later. And this is the team I was thinking of when it was like, what really disrupts Grimmsnarl like teams, and it's Weezing. Turning off the Prankster, you can easily Eevee your Weezing to outspeed a Grimmsnarl if you want to, and then just be able to taunt them, turn off all of their best options. And Koraidon is a very good damage trader when nothing else has an ability that can disrupt its damage, whether Intimidate or Prankster Reflect are gone and no longer options. It doesn't really need the Life Orb if you want to just Terrafire Flare Blitz. Collision Course will be a little bit lackluster. That's where I sometimes feel like, I miss the power that Life Orb Close Combat had. But other than that, it is a very annoying team because you don't get to play the game how you want. You're playing on their terms.
Yeah, 100%.
What was the answer, by the way?
5 attack more, like 90. Both Weezing have 90 attack and 85 special attack. So.
Oh, okay. I didn't know shit.
Yeah, but Playwaf can miss. I guess Strange Theme can too, and Dazzling
Right.
is too weak. So, Weezing, you are bad.
Mm-hmm,
But
mm-hmm.
other than that, there are so many interesting things, like the Aquajet Walking Rake. I mean, we talked about it. Sash Shadow Rider, Sash Pow, Sturdy Ogapon. That is pretty cool to get all of those. But having no Weather Ball or Flamethrower still is a little sus. I mean, you have fire moves everywhere, right? On your not on your Incin, which is also interesting at least. Also
Mhm.
Protect on Incin.
Right.
I'm really curious on what the reasoning for that one was. And
100%.
no overheat on Chiyu. I mean, some people like to drop overheat, but like overheat in the sun, you just get resisted OKOs. And
Mhm.
now you click Flamethrower, I guess.
I'm a fan of overheat. Like I think the only argument I hear for flamethrower is not accuracy, because I think that that's cope. Like, you accept that you have to hit your moves with Chiyu, but if you want a move that you can repeatedly click for like single target damage, like again, like if you want to flamethrower into the Zamazenta and then be able to flamethrower the Pokemon next to it afterwards, this is the team with
We
the
got the
EVs.
Yes.
All right, I'll
chat.
grab it. Cool. Yeah, this is definitely a cool one. Like the Aquajet Wake locked in for the finals, dude. Like, it was so cool to see in action. And I should mention right now that it was amazing that the Australians put together a stream to make this happen so that we could watch this. It was so sick to be able to check out these games. So thank you so much to everybody on the team who made that happen. The commentators, the graphics were awesome. The downtime between rounds with the trivia was really sick. So yeah, just, and like, this was some very high level Pokemon that we would have completely missed if it wasn't for these guys. So definitely give them a follow, a shout, go check out the VOD. But yeah, back to talking about the team. The team was mega sick.
Why the flip is the CSR evade to survive surging strikes, a Terra Water surging strikes.
I'm guessing it's just for like wheezing leads, so that you don't have to use Haridon, I guess.
So
like maybe,
I guess CSR wheezing lead, yeah.
and it is bulky slow Haridon. Wow.
I think that's cool. I think it's cool to see that. The thing about Koraidon is, if you're not taking an OHKO, you're dying back, and so now all of a sudden that's not necessarily the case,
Right.
which is good, because if you don't have a life orb and you not get close combat, you're actually probably not taking a KO a lot of the time. Things are bulkier now, and so yeah, no, I actually do really like the idea of running your Koraidon a little slower. Normally, you'd expect to have some speed control with it. This team notably is not running like a Flutter Mane to give us some speed control, but flame charge is maybe just get one flame charge off, and it doesn't really matter what your speed set is, right? So
Right.
I can see it. I think it's cool.
Mm-hmm. Definitely a very fun one. Doing things very differently. And then on the complete opposite end, Jude running the most boring Jude-looking team I've ever seen.
Was
so,
that
yeah,
going to X, by the way? Do we know who going to X was?
I would have to imagine this is going to X, yes, on the showdown ladder. Which is funny because,
Yeah,
like, Michael,
this is
that's
the
like,
exact pace.
no offense to you bringing it up, but I feel like that's like the interesting stuff that we would talk about, like, as high level players, and like most like casual people will be like, I don't even know what you're talking
I
about.
guess,
Like,
yeah.
we're like the
fair
ones that are like,
enough.
who exactly is behind that alt with the 80 GXE, blah, like, you know. They've been running this the whole format. They've been playing, but yeah, no, I'm
Fuck
pretty
it.
sure that's Jude.
Yeah,
Wait
y'all
a
are
second.
nerds. Y'all are nerds.
It's that-
I've been trying to. I was gonna say, I've been trying to figure out who the Mewtwo player on ladder was, and I finally found that out. Y'all can figure out the
What team
the
are you,
80%
Wait,
GXE.
1 second.
What team?
I
Yeah.
thought about this one crazy team. I didn't know about anything about the Melbourne results, and I thought the team that we see in top 4 was like top 64 or something. You are not. You are kidding me.
I'm guessing you're talking
The
about Scott's
Scott
team?
Kennedy. Yeah, like the hands, the Indeed. What?
Yeah, dude, it's synchronized. So it's not even Psychic Surge. It's here to click Fake Out and follow me. It's kind of funny. Like, I'm looking at this moveset, and, like, I understand that Indeedee has quite a bit more bulk than Smeargle, but I do wonder a little bit. Like, I guess, like, you're able to set up Trick Room much more reliably than, like, a Sash Smeargle would be able to set up Trick Room. And so I get that. But yeah, it's like I do think non-terrain Indeedee is actually kind of legit. It's hilarious. We did see, I think it got on stream and it got taunted, which is like a fate worse than death because it is only able to click fake out instead of like even struggling to KO itself on Sash or something like that. It's just like, God, kill me. But actually, I can't even die.
Also, 2 attacks Grimmsnarl, and one of them not being fake out is certainly a choice.
No.
Also,
This one, I agree with, and I've thought about using multiple attacks on Grimmsnarl. Usually not on screens, but Grimmsnarl's offensive typing is really good.
I
this
mean,
metagame. And it's got an attack stat.
with AV and stuff, okay, but like screens to attacks, like no T wave, no parting shot, is or no fake out is interesting, and yeah, the electric seed hands is just
right.
oh, my AV is on Miraidon. I could run specs Miraidon AV hands, but that way it's way better.
No,
I mean, it
this
works
is
out for
funny,
them,
dude.
so
This is funny because like
yeah.
Miraidon deals with all the special attackers, and then Hands deals with all the physical ones, dude. Glacial Lance, you know that's bouncing off. Like you're taking nothing. Body press, I'm drain punching all the damage away. You did nothing to me. Don't ask how much Psychic does from Shadow Rider. We don't want to know the answer. But that's not what it's here to do. It's not here to be well rounded. It's here to target the physical restricteds, and I think I'm here for that, dude. Play referencing, it's eating that. It's eating that up. So funny.
I don't know.
But yeah, Indeed
okay.
has 85 speed base, so it has a
Oh.
faster fake out than Smeargle.
What? Running it fast? This
Yeah.
is insane. Oh my god.
Max speed Indeed female with
Um,
Sash.
Lewis running boring stuff. Whoa, it's Darker Shifu with black glasses. Whoa. Okay,
Oh,
moving on.
do you think Choppleberry on
but-
Instant is actually good? I think it helps in Koraidon.
Right.
And Zama CSR, as long as CSR is obviously not on the board, like it can take one hit or so. But I don't know, feels weird to say the least.
No, I'm not
This
a
is-
fan of Chopel's interesting, but I don't know. Go ahead, Adani.
No, I mean this is not the first Chopel instant we've seen. I think, right? I feel like we saw it somewhere else too.
First
I don't know.
online VR tournament again, Japanese player. I think it was Mao actually, Mao Harada, who played Chopel Instant in the first Victory Road tournament.
Okay.
So
and he top 16 with it, so yeah.
we saw this already on those Lunala Calm Mind teams with Miraidon. They featured Rillaboom still. And Bingji over here is just breaking all the rules of Miraidon teams, which I love it. Getting all the way to top 8 with this 6 is kind of crazy to me. Like, just saying, like, you know, my grass type's not going to be Ogerpon. It's actually going to be Rillaboom. That's going to disrupt my terrain. And also, yeah, I'm setting up Electric Train, but I'm still going to use Amoonguss. Like, this is just kind of awesome. Not because, like, there's that anti-synergy, but realizing that, like, a team can work without it. Like, I think a lot of people they put up a mental block and just say that this is not physically possible. When, you know, maybe if you test it out, it's something you're allowed to do based on the game plans you form with the team as you play it. You know, maybe you need a Moongus on turn 1 when you don't set up Electric Terrain, and then you have a Spore Threat. Or maybe you want to be able to turn off the opposing Miraidon's terrain in certain situations, and so that's why you have Rillaboom and Miraidon. We used double terrain plenty back in basically in the Alola era. And so I do think that it's very possible to do, and not enough people are open to it. That said, that doesn't mean that Indeedee earlier should have been Psychic Surge. That one needed to be synchronized for a reason. But yeah, Rillaboom Miraidon, it's popping up a lot more in this format. Nature Power, Adi, we're bringing back Nature Power.
It's still in the game. I feel like
I don't even know if it works the same anymore.
no,
It might just be gone.
It's not in the game.
Yeah.
I mean, how often, to be fair, do you have like Miraidon on the board in grassy terrain, like in your own grassy terrain? Most often you either Volt Switch your Miraidon out, and like Miraidon Rillaboom seems like a weird lead to begin with. And even if you have a Miraidon in grassy terrain, it still does decent damage, and the recovery is pretty sick. I remember every time I bought my Miraidon, I was like, okay, switch in your Rillaboom and give my fat Miraidon some recovery. I appreciate it. So It is
Mhm.
pretty cool, especially with Leech Seed on Kelly Ice as well.
Right.
You have so much recovery. I don't know if Pollen Puff on Amoonguss is necessary as well. With leftovers, grassy terrain, Leech Seed, and everything. I'm a bigger fan of Sludge Bomb, honestly. But it worked for Bingji. Made a big
Mhm.
return with a big finish, undefeated in
Yeah.
Swiss. No, he
Right.
wait. Bingji
8-0
lost
day
on
1.
that
8-0
day
day 1.
too, right?
It,
Right. But still really good showing with
mhm.
a very interesting team. Obviously, some similar stuff we know of. Terrafarion, the Ice Rider. I'm not convinced, but
I
I
agree.
really like the other pieces.
Hmm. Something that Adi and I were talking about. This might have ended up being off stream when we were talking about this team, but Adi mentioned that Rillaboom and Miraidon being able to like influence like Miraidon every time it hits the field again, it's going to be resetting electric terrain, so you never really have to worry about your electric terrains turns expiring on you at a bad time. And so yeah, you can bring in that Miraidon on like turn 4 of what would normally be electric terrain, but instead it's actually just turn 1 again because it's setting it back up. And yeah, it's a restricted that already likes to do a lot of pivoting, and so do a lot of these Pokemon. I mean, it's technically 3 pivot moves, Regenerator. Ice Rider's the only guy that's not, part of that game, but regardless, yeah, it's just like a very interesting approach.
Where's the
Uh,
Calm Mind setup Pokemon? Is that the Leech Seed Kelly Ice? Like,
right, right.
that's missing there.
So yes, then Alistair running, we kind of already looked at stuff like this and that. Koraidon on the standard one here. And then yeah, we were talking about Shohei earlier because Shohei was one of the Japanese players to come over to this tournament. And yeah, I think this ends up looking quite it's not quite Joe's team, I realize. I think Joe runs Ditto instead of
It's
Chen Pao, but
Pow over Ditto, yeah.
and I do like that, like bringing the Pow back to it. Like Pow is very good with this restricted duo. You have fast Bolt Beam. Like I mean, Ice Rider and Miraidon do really well for each other already. But this way, when that Rillaboom hits the field, it can't U-turn out before it gets hit by a Glacial Lance. Instead, the Icicle Crash is going to hit you immediately, and that's going to be very annoying. And then, of course, Chen Pao Zamazenta. There's, I guess, some synergy there. I've seen it before.
Interesting to see Flamethrower instead of Fiery Dance. I like the more consistent Flamethrower, but I think most people are opting for Fiery Dance or even Heat Wave. I'm a
Right.
big fan of Flamethrower because it also gets some certain KOs, which you otherwise would not get, like +1 on Zama, for example. But yeah, I'm just a big fan of Power Miraidon because I remember I faced that in EUIC and I had a big struggles against it because two very fast Pokemon that can hit pretty much everything for at least neutral damage, and sometimes you cannot go for defensive switches. And if you bring certain Pokemon, like you see Miraidon, you wanna bring your Rillaboom, and then there's the Zamazenta, the Champo, the Volcarona, and then you're like, okay, I'm not bringing Rillaboom, and then Miraidon is running over you. But it also works the other way around. You want to bring Incin because there's a Chiempo, for example, and then Zamazenta body presses you, Miraidon Electro drifts you. So really like the synergy there.
And it's also kind of funny because Zine didn't Zine just make it through to the live stage in Japan Nats qualifier. We were talking about that I think just last week. Made it through into the top 64, and it was a completely different team, which I thought was funny. Like I was just like, we're definitely going to see Zine using the team that he used to get through in Japan Nats. It was BBSS, Miraidon Ice Rider, with the Leech Seed, kind of not exactly what you were running, Michael, but and like obviously there was a couple of set differences. And there was like an Ursaluna instead of a Lando, but regardless, it was inspired by the Tang team, and I was like, yeah, that probably works in best of 3 too. Let's see if they load it up, and actually instead a complete pivot. I always think it's cool when players just show that they are well-rounded, as opposed to we talked about the players that stick to comfort. I think it's also really impressive to see people just completely try a new direction and still do really well with it.
Yeah, that's why I also like to post my teams, so I force myself to use something else.
Yeah, I
Um,
get you. That's a fun way to
didn't
do
work
it.
well with Magma team, but I guess it
Oh,
is what it
true.
is.
Right.
That's also why I try to force Alex to post his teams too.
Oh
No,
man.
I want to talk about sorry Gunter, congrats. He's also using combines. We kind of looked at teams like that.
Right.
I want to talk about
Joji.
Joji's team because we saw Groudon do quite well at Utrecht as well. There were a couple in day 2. One went 8-3, I believe. But this is the highest placing one, getting top 16. I've been told this is similar to the team, if not the same team, that Shiliang used in the GC and did quite well in, which makes sense because this looks like a GC team. But you know, I'll let other people digest the individual aspects of it. But the cool thing for me is that I just think, man, Miraidon's at like 45% usage. Surely Groudon has to be good right now, right? Like it can't be that bad when half the time it is like the single best Pokemon into your opponent's restricted, right? Like it can't be that bad. And so it's cool to see it doing pretty well this weekend and taking advantage of recent metagame trends. Now, Alex, you want to explain to me what this Calyrex Ice is doing?
No,
I feel like
dude.
Calyrex Ice is fine, honestly. I
Really?
honestly
Okay.
I'm
Go ahead.
more like Toxic Among Us. I mean, there's some targets, I guess. All these call my setup as like Terrapagos and Lunala. I guess you can tox them, but you can also just spore them. But if they are paired with Miraidon, I guess you can still tox them. I don't know. The team doesn't look sustainable enough. I guess you have Pollen Puff on Among Us, AV Groudon, Intimidate Instant, but you have no tech on Kelly Ice and stuff. I'm just really surprised seeing Toxic on Among Us. Like, I think the Kelly Ice makes sense because your Zama matchup is terrible. You can click Imprison, so you. Nah,
You beat the Shadow Rider too with Terra Normal.
Yeah, like you want this Calyrex Ice to beat everything. Like it beats Zama, it beats CIR, it beats CSR, like in a vacuum, obviously.
Right.
It beats CSR, it beats Miraidon naturally. Yeah, no.
It is actually
I
funny. It
think,
will lose to Leech Seed Ice Rider, I think.
but it will. But why is there a Lumberry on it as well?
Right? I
Will-O-Wisp,
know.
T-Wave. It's there's too much stuff on this Calyrex Ice.
I know. Just like, could you at least be normal and put on like leftovers or clear amulet? Like, we gotta talk.
Also,
What do you? Yeah, it can be normal just fine.
Lumberry,
right there.
yeah, you're right. Thank you. But like Lumberry, like we have taunt on Flutter. Surely we could just avoid the statuses that way. Maybe I don't know.
Also, Terra Stellar on the Flutter main is another interesting choice because I guess there are some Shadow Ball calcs you need to get. Usually, you would see Fairy on a set like this, or maybe even normal or another defensive Terra type. But yeah, definitely something
So
that is weird.
There's a couple of things I want to touch on here before we finally move forward. There was, of course, the Giratina. I think everyone wants to talk about the Giratina. I don't think I have too much to say about the rest of the team because it's just like, it looks like a Chen Pao Zamazenta physical spam team. It's actually 6 physical attackers, and we did see that win over in Europe recently.
Well,
But
Giratina is only kind of a special attacker.
you're right. I guess it does have Draco. My bad. I missed that. There is a special attacker. I don't like that Poltergeist doesn't get to hit the Lunalas that like have Electric Seed. That always bothers me. I know that like it's not the end of the world. You have Crunch on Chen Pao, but it does just make me very sad. Yeah, Max, you were using Crunch on Ursa for the Giratina matchup. One step ahead. Always one step ahead. That one was funny. I imagine that this person was actually running 6 Pokemon and then it must have been a team sheet error. Is there a 6
Victory
Pokemon?
Road has a Rock Pond as the
okay,
slot.
okay.
So
wow,
thrilling.
I think
who would have guessed?
Who would have guessed?
I do think that what probably happened is they probably looked at their team sheet before round 1 and said, "Oh, there's only 5 Pokemon here," and went to a judge and got it fixed, but it doesn't update on Arcanine. So that's probably what happened, I assume. Although I will also say, if you're going into top cut and your opponent can only see 5 of your Pokemon in preparation and you can see all 6, that's pretty good. Like that's not bad.
I know. This is my Portland plan. Like I genuinely, I'm like, like what's stopping me from putting 4 Pokemon on my team in Portland and then just being like, oh, sorry, oops. Like it's funny because like they didn't lose round 1, Adi. Like they didn't lose until like round 5. Maybe they took like a game loss or something like that. But regardless, it is like a little bit It's a little bit it's not really their fault. The problem is we should just be able to like update the website, you know, that has the
round
teams instead of
5 was
having to do
also
it on
a full
paper.
mirror.
They ended up losing to the full mirror, you're saying?
Yeah.
Yeah. How fun. I bet they had a great time warming their chairs. Lastly, Nick Khan here was doing some funny stuff. Here, I'll try to open it up because that is AV Ice Rider, you know? Everyone wants their Ice Rider to be...
Why is everybody in Australia running GC teams?
It's Covert Cloak. This is funny because it's Ability Shield Pelipper. And you look at this and you're like, well, I guess I kind of get it. Like, Pelipper's items 1 through 4 are all taken. Like, it's like, okay, yeah, let's put Sash on it. No. Okay, Rocky, no. Covert, no. Are we running Damp Rock? Are we running safety goggles, I guess? It's just still funny. And then also, you say the Ability Shield. Did the Ability Shield come up? Yes! Round 2, played against the tournament winner and beat him! Like, you gotta feel vindicated seeing that.
That is a bit... No.
No, I mean, so again, it's worth knowing your local metagame. And I think the last Australian regional, which is in Reg G, there was so much wheezing. Like, there was a ridiculous amount of wheezing. So I get assuming that people are going to be partial to using wheezing. And like we said, there were like 3 in top 32. There was a decent amount of it, right? I know 2 of them didn't make cut. 4 in top 32. There's a lot of it. Like, there's a whole... Oh my God, there's like 5. Okay, I just keep scrolling and I keep seeing more wheezings. Okay. Yeah.
But you're telling me it's cool to play triple water, double ice. Like, it's not about stacking types, but like Kyogre Pelipper. Are we at that point? Like,
yeah,
right. I know. I agree.
Kyogre teams really struggle against Koraidon. Like, they really do. I think the Pelipper is just there for that matchup and probably nothing else.
I mean, doesn't Pelipper also just get bonked by Raging Bolt if you don't have Protect?
Because I thought this team looked really cool, and I was very interested in what it was up to, and it got featured on stream, and I think Nick Khan forfeited game 2 on turn 2. Like, it was just getting completely decimated in whatever matchup eliminated him. Let me go check again, but yeah, just the basic Pagos stuff.
Oh my God.
Not what you want to see, but
yeah, instant Pagos already, like with Willa, and GG.
And so, like, yes, it kind of loses to Raging Bolt. Only 4 of the 28 Koraidon in Melbourne top 128 had Raging Bolt. It's not actually like that common, I guess. I think it should be. I think it's very good, but yeah, it's just not that common for some reason.
I don't think that many normal types are being stacked right now, but there is that triple grass team, absolutely.
We gotta go back to quadruple dark.
Quadruple dark, the only way to be safe from Shadow Rider, of course. So yes, lastly here, Master Ball League in Thailand. And yeah, I don't think I have that much to say about team number 1. I'm trying to do like a dramatic reveal here. Of course, most people probably saw it on Twitter. Yeah, team 1, disgusting. I couldn't want to... I would love to see less of it. But team 2, hold on. I'm here.
Wait
I'm interested.
A second. Scraggy was one of my favorite Pokemon for like 10 years. And
it's so funny, dude.
How much speed does it have? 48?
I think it's slow.
So it's slower. It's faster in TR than like I will check it. Wait, /data Scraggy.
Let's go.
So yeah, it has 48. Wow.
Amazing.
So you have a fast coaching in Trick Room. Like, you can run the 49er and still have fast coaching, which I think is out of my mind. I think there's no other Pokemon that can do that. Like, maybe Cup Fu is faster, so no.
It's actually hilarious. Oh, I saw some people goofing around with Makuhita. Makuhita is slow, and like, I think with Guts it can still Oko or Saluna with close combat if it doesn't decide to Terra. But let's actually talk about this thing's coverage, because genuinely it's like, okay, there's this baby Pokemon that's going to hit you with Endeavor, and so, like, you know, your Ursaluna's freaking out, and like, if it wants to Terra Ghost to deal with the Iron Hands or the Ice Rider, it's suddenly weak to Foul Play, and like that doesn't, it's just Stab Foul Play. Like, Foul Play, especially with Stab, that's some serious juice. So this is like So sick. Girder is base 50. That would mean it's speed ties, doesn't it? Because these guys are all base 50.
Yep.
Now, Gerda is
Hmm.
never base 50. Gerda is 40. Pretty sure.
Yeah, I think Girder is slower because there was a ladder warrior going out around there with Girder.
Gerda is 40.
Okay,
Yeah, but it doesn't have fake out. The fake outs are Makohita and Scrappy.
Yeah.
So you gotta pick between one
Intimidate
of those.
and Endeavor and everything.
Honestly, low key, I realized the fake out. I kind of just glossed over that it also does have intimidate. Like this guy's just got like a good toolkit for enabling a turn 1 trick room into a turn 2 coaching for Kali Ice. Like that is just cool. That is genuinely just a really cool niche. That is hilarious. So yeah, I'm sad that it didn't go all the way. Unfortunately, I had to lose to the one of the most cringe teams you could possibly ever see. Pollen Puff Shadow Rider. Ugh, yeah, whatever, man. We hate fun around here. But
we love sitting.
We love sitting. So true. Yeah, the rest of the teams here, I'll be honest, they're kind of vanilla. Let's see. Standard.
Where's the Screamtail? Like, what is this Shadow Rider set if there's
Oh, you're right. I kind of glossed over that guy, dude. My eyes just glazed over. The Puff Wisp. So they had the Puff Wisp, but they still wanted Encore Disable, and they couldn't put it on their Shadow Rider because it needed to be Puff Wisp. Sure.
Understandable.
Thrilling. Yeah, but congratulations to the 12 players here for locking in Worlds invites. And I know that only the finalists get the travel awards, but Scraggy did get a travel award, so that's hype. And I don't know, dude. I mean, it's got me thinking about that Scraggy Pokemon. Like that's a really cool niche.
I will pull up with
All right, Alex.
my next event.
Yeah.
What flag is that?
What flag? Oh my wait.
Number 15.
What?
Not number.
This is the one below it?
Yeah, number 15.
Are you quizzing me? Okay, if you're quizzing me, I will fail.
Yeah.
I do not know which one that one is. But I did. You had me stop and look at the one above it because, like, I know that flag. Why is there a British player here?
I hope you know that flag. I want to say that one, without looking, is Liberia, but I might be wrong about that.
MMR?
I think it is.
Well, I don't know what MMR is.
Myanmar?
Oh, that might be
Liberia is not it.
I was gonna say Liberia is very far away. No, Liberia has a different star on the flag. I just
Myanmar. Yeah, that is
star.
correct. Yeah, I think that could be right. Yeah, it
Dude,
is correct.
Why was there a British player here? Why did a British player almost qualify through Thailand's nationals? I mean, surely they're there for like studying or something, there, like school, right? Or maybe they just live there. Yeah, sure. Isn't that the British dude that lives in Thailand? I mean, you would, if you say that, that would sound accurate because like I think that's all of our best guess, but like, that would be just, it would be a very normal explanation. Yeah. Anyways, it's just funny to see. Okay. So with that though, I think that the Scraggy is the main team that's hype here. I double checked. There's not a Master Ball League this coming weekend. There is one at the very end of the month, so we'll make sure to talk about that in 2 weeks. But yes, or I guess in next week's episode we can preview it. Regardless though, Portland is coming up, and before we launch into previewing the smart monies and stuff like that and looking at the past runs, I think it's fun to see I think the casters got announced. Go ahead.
There's also another tournament coming up. Do you know which one it is?
No. Go ahead.
There will be a 5-person special event in South Africa again.
Oh, is there another South African event?
Yes.
Okay.
And over under 1 invader at this event. 1.5 invaders. How about that?
There's gonna be one. There's gonna be one.
That's
at least one.
So over under 1.5. They're gonna be.
Oh, you said 1.5. Shit. Okay. I'll take the over. The over.
Yeah, I would also go with over.
Yeah, like just to get 2, I could say there could be 2. I could see there being 2. You maybe needed to pick 2.5, but like regardless, I'll take my 2.
No, I want to take the under. I think I would take the under, but yeah, I don't know.
Only one doesn't.
We'll see what happens. Last time, we saw 2 players. We saw Patrick and we saw an Italian. And they neither of them won. I am unapologetically rooting for the South Africans. I want them to get the World's invite.
Do you want to? If you're talking
Don't
about
go invade
invaders,
South Africa. It's stupid.
If you want to talk about invaders, I don't want to like. I don't like to highlight people when they have like bad tournaments and stuff like that. Like that's just kind of like bad manners. However, like
Australia.
yes, like Owie, who is a nope, not that Oliver. Always a very strong player from Europe, and there was a European event this weekend, and Oliver's over in here, and I don't know, maybe genuinely there was an excuse to be there, but you don't often end up in Australia just like on business or something, maybe a vacation, I don't know. Regardless, it was crazy to see Owie at this tournament, and unfortunately a failed invasion. There are definitely some failed invasions in Europe, I believe,
a cool
some Americans.
team.
What's
His
that?
team was pretty sick, bro.
I actually didn't end up looking at it. I glossed over
You
it.
don't want to look at it.
Oh no! Why did you do this to me? I made me go back and look. You know what? Now I feel even less bad because he used Teravagos, and I hate that stuff. Moving on. Portland. The casters were announced, and we have, well, technically, they've done it before, but Wolf is making a return, and Yuki making a debut. That is actually pretty interesting, pretty cool. To see at this one, you know, it means that, you know, I have a good shot of winning the tournament again because Wolf is not playing in it. All the regionals that I've won, Wolf has not been playing in, so that's the only reason I'm ever able to win. Michael, that probably applies to your regionals as well. That's the only reason you were able to win this weekend is that Wolf wasn't there.
Correct.
But yes, it is. It is funny though. I like to mention this one because like it's not Wolf, but Marcus, who's often associated with Wolf, Marcus Statter, another commentator. He was actually at one of my regional wins, and I did play and beat him. I don't know if you know this story, Michael, but in Fort Wayne, Indiana, it was like 1 or 2 weeks after Worlds, and so Billa and Marcus just stayed in the U.S. for that long to go to the tournament. And I played against Marcus in Day 1 Swiss, and I did end up beating him and winning the whole tournament. But it was just like, I was not supposed to be driving to Indiana and play against Marcus Statter, like the best player in Germany at the time, at my regional. Like, what do you mean you're here? What?
Fair enough.
That was so
next
funny.
year, I will come to your regional.
Yes.
When you beat me, and you win the whole thing.
Okay, I'm down with this.
What
That sounds
about
like a good plan for me. And then
Hey, I got $6,000 for your next America trip, right? So we're holding you to that.
Exactly.
Oh no, you didn't get anything. You didn't get anything for this one, right?
Get anything.
Oh, special event.
Oh no.
I got a medal. I can sell for medal. No, I don't sell medals. People who sell medals are cringe.
I agree. I like the medals. But yeah, 3-timer now.
Yeah, the casters are really good.
Yes, it's cool.
Like,
I also, Scott. I kind of glossed over Scott and Evan, Aaron, Rose. This is awesome. This is a very strong list. Definitely want to make
makes
it
me
on
feel
stream
bad that I have to recast that and mute the stream.
Right. Yes, I was gonna say like I would be excited to be watching this one, but I guess if you're streaming it, then you don't get to hear the commentary as often. So, that said, though,
I'd rather watch Michael's stream.
Right.
I'm not going, Adi.
This is the classic. Would you rather watch Michael Jordan cast a tournament or LeBron cast a tournament? Right. I'm picking LeBron.
Wait, I don't know.
I
don't know this one.
I
don't know this one.
Wait, are you not going to Portland?
No, I'm going to be in Portland. I'm going to be playing. Don't worry. I'll have a chance to watch day 2, I'm sure.
No, shut up.
No, don't say that. Shut up. Yeah.
But yes, Michael, you're a 3-timer now. I'm a 3-timer, or I have been for I guess a little bit longer though. But regardless, I thought this was kind of funny. They do their classic thing at the end where it's like the last tournament was won by this person, and so it says the final saw 2-time regional champion Alex Underhill defeat Chuppa to win his 3rd regional champion over 6 years after his last major win. I was like, whoa, did we need that last sentence? Like, come on, like, I'm like, leave me alone here, leave me alone here. Like, I got 2nd in 2022. I got like, I don't know, I got 2nd in 2019 as well. Like 3rd in a couple of tournaments. Like, leave me alone. 23. I got top 4. I don't know.
They also just kind of repeated the same information twice, right? Like 2-time regional champion wins his 3rd regional. Okay, that's not surprising. Like that's how that works. That's how math works.
But yeah, no, I get that I'm a boomer, but like, yeah, just throwing in that 6 years after his last, I'm like, all right, fine, yeah, it's accurate. Okay, so Launching
with
into
what
it though,
he
let's
plays.
talk about the smart monies. And so yeah, Portland back in 2017. I don't think Aaron is gonna be my
I'm
smart money pick
smart
for this
money,
one.
Aaron.
No,
Okay.
you know what? The guest gets to go first. Guest gets to go first. So if you want him, is yours. You know what's funny
Wait,
is Conan.
Max?
I think Conan might still be
Oh no,
banned
Max.
in the U.S., but I think I saw Conan was like trying to come back on Twitter or something like that. So, and he's playing
I saw he
Pagos.
played
So
he played in a
yeah.
Japanese tournament. I saw that.
Yeah. Playing with Pagos, so more reasons to just add to the fire. Regardless, though, moving on. Hayden is in the area now, but I don't actually know if I've heard from Hayden going and playing. Alberto probably could be, and then the rest of the names I'm very unsure about. Let's keep it moving.
Alberto is like notably outside of a World's Invite spot right now. And he's
Yes.
consistently been one of the best players in North America for the last decade. So it is kind of crazy to see him. He's probably needs a big finish from this
Here he is
tournament
again.
to have a chance at a World's Invite.
He's going though, right?
Alberto?
He's what?
Yeah. He's going to
No
Portland?
idea,
Do
actually.
we
I'm
know
not
that?
100% sure.
I assume so. He lives close by, close-ish. So.
Yes.
Okay.
Gary
Yeah,
should be
true.
going. As for the rest of these names, I don't even know who the second place finisher is here. I don't remember them. But yeah, that's pretty much the only name. I don't think Sam is in the area, but Sam hasn't really been playing as much lately. So keeping it moving. Riley, I do know that name, and Riley's been going to a lot of things, but he's also like he's auto-qualled. He's got a ton of points. He could very easily take a break if he wanted to, but he did get he got top 16 at Milwaukee, I think.
Yes, with like the stupidest looking team imaginable, with another Pagos team.
Expert belt Pagos.
The expert built Pagos.
But he played Draco Miraidon. Do you believe that? Like,
yes, that's true. It was huge. It was huge.
It was insane.
Uncle Lou's been back.
I don't think he's going to this one. I'm not sure.
Uncle Lou?
But I haven't seen him tweeting about it.
For sure.
He's normally pretty active about where he's going.
And then Burns also not going. So again, kind of another name, a bunch of names that I'm not really sure. I bet Key's going. Trust me, once we hit we're looking at all the boomer tournaments, Michael. So once we hit the more recent ones, you'll have a better idea of who to smart money. But yeah, Joe, that's also a big question. Yeah, Joe has won Portland twice, right?
Twice, yeah.
So I would have to imagine Joe is coming to this one just because, it's like kind of a lucky city at this point. Like even if he, I don't know, just like it's really good for him. Anyways.
I think Joe said he has to get top 4 at the regional to get any championship points out of it, and he's probably still showing up. So
right.
he's just making money. It's just a good investment.
You know it. Bingji, just over in Australia, I don't imagine we'll be seeing here in Portland. I know that Justin was joking about this being Japan's LCQ, another chance to try to get a Worlds invite, trying to win the whole thing. I don't know if any... I know Bingji's not Japanese, but I'm just mentioning players coming from Asia. I don't know we'll see any players coming from Asia, but like we are like about as close to Japan as you can get in the
African
US.
special event will have 15 Japanese players.
Imagine. That's the over under 15 Japanese players at the African special event. Let's see. Chemo's going. Raghav not going. Gavin, I haven't heard. Have you, Audi?
I think Gavin is going.
Gavin's going. Okay.
He was cooking for Portland before Milwaukee.
Yeah, that makes sense. And then I don't think Graham Stephen Mia is going. So, yes. Now we are much more in the recent area. Scarlet and Violet. Michael, you might be able to recognize some names now, maybe. And so we've got.
I'm not that young.
No, I know. You're a little bit more learned than some of the other like newer players I talk to. Like whenever I talk to like William Brown, he's just like, who? I'm like, dude, that's like a multiple regional champion, and you're just like hooing them.
Is William going?
William, I believe, will be going. Yes, he.
Maybe I can finally see him once after.
Right? No, he's stream banned. He's blacklisted. Like I don't know what he did, but he's clearly blacklisted because they haven't featured him yet. 7th in championship points or something like that in the US here, but has not once been featured on stream this season.
Yeah.
Oh, Billy in the chat here says can confirm that guy is going. Yes. So I wanted to make sure because like some people try to be sneaky about whether or not they're going to tournaments or not, but Billy decided relatively late in the game that he was going, and so I didn't want to like blow up his spot, but yes, he is in fact going. Nails not going. All right, Nails isn't going to this one. Rafa will be Len. I mean, he's not casting, so he very well could be playing.
I think he plays. Yeah, I'm pretty sure he plays.
I would believe
He's
it.
in the area. This might be his
Cedric
tournament. Yeah.
Cedric's going. I haven't heard. I don't think Caleb's going. Scott is no longer in the area. Scott has moved. So.
He's one of my locals now.
Yeah, you stole him from us. Damn, dude. Gavin, I don't know if that guy's going. I also have short-term memory loss. We'll talk about that later. Randy's going. And yeah, okay. So then the most recent one in 2024, I think Alex Underhill's going. I think Chuppa is not going. I was talking to him at Milwaukee and he's like, I'll let you have it. And I was like, damn, all right, man. Thanks, appreciate that. But yeah. Haven't seen Anton around actually. I think he's kind of like gone back over to he's a Smogon player, right? Going back to just playing online and stuff.
Yeah.
So
He played Smogon? I never heard of him.
What's his name? Isn't it Stacks? Is he Stacks?
I want to say it's Dax.
Oh, that is Stacks.
Anton Gawkin, I believe, is Stacks. Yes. I've actually played him twice in the Scarlet Violet era here. Colin not going. Joe
What?
here again. I know I can't grab Colin. Me and Colin are not going to be top fouring together again. Zomog, I could see it. Carson, I don't think Carson's going. No, Carson's not going.
No, he's not.
NJ.
Hey, I see Dylan coming off of his second place at a regional. I think this is his best finish before that.
True,
Yeah,
true.
Dylan
And he's a Chicago player, so I would not say with 100% certainty he's going to be here, but definitely could be, especially after a hot finish. Zhe is going to this one. He did tweet out something like, "I've changed my motor to the red one," and it was a fire banger tweet. Like, if you don't follow Zhe on Twitter, like they're some of the best tweets.
Zhe now plays a bundle Kowaidon. Oh no.
Is Semper going? That's what I want to know.
I have not heard anything.
But
I haven't heard anything either. But if there's anyone who's going to come out of nowhere and snipe an invite, it'd be him.
And
yeah.
Okay. So that is that's pretty much the list. And so let's go ahead and wrap it up here. I realize we started a little late, so we're not quite at time yet. But let's keep it moving here and start picking our smart monies. I am last, so I guess that gives me the most time to think. I don't have my pick figured out yet. Michael, who do you want as smart money for Portland?
That's a good question. How well did you guys prepare?
Not me. Don't pick me.
I feel pretty good. I've been prepping pretty hard. Because I wanted to defend, of course. But also, that not saying you should pick me for that reason. But, like, if Joe is going, he's the pick. Like, right? He does well here.
Yeah, I know, like, that was what I'm thinking. But, like, Joe always clicks T-Wave. And his T-Waves are going to miss. Like, he pulls up with Sleep Powder Jump Love again. I will still go with Joe, yeah.
Joe here, all right. All right, Adi, what will it be for you?
All right. Yeah, well, I definitely had this whole bit that I was going to do about picking a Portland regional champion and then picking Joe.
Nah.
And so you ruined it. You ruined it for me. No, I'm gonna go ahead and pick someone who I think we haven't really talked about, but he's I know he's been putting in the work prep wise, and I think he's he needs his first Worlds invite. And is a player who's more than capable of getting a Worlds invite, and that is Jody Azzarelli, who is now a Portland local, at least for the time being. So, gets to sleep in his own bed, and I know he's just been working hard, and I think he's going to do very well.
Is it a double L? I can't remember. Double Z, double L. I gave him you know what? A lot of times we just put the names that they're known by, and most people just know him as Jody, so that'll be fine.
Yeah,
I think people know who Jody is. Now, for me, Wolf is quote commentating. He's gonna surprise everyone and just compete. That would be something else. That's true. He just ditches it. All right. It's funny. I had my name and then it escaped me. Oh no, I remember who. I know who I want to pick. I want to pick Hoopu Metapod. Dude, his tweets are so gas. I like they're the most motivational things you'll see. My favorite one was when he was talking about like I am like a salmon swimming upstream and just like posted a picture of a salmon just like on I don't know. It's just like he takes Pokemon seriously, and so it's just exciting. No, Max, I genuinely am pretty confident in myself. And like I'm taking this one seriously again because I want to do my best to defend. Michael, you did it earlier this year. You defended not this one, but Stockholm, right?
Yeah.
And so
it was close with Utrecht because Utrecht the year before I finished third.
Oh, okay. So you've done well there before for sure. But yeah, I don't like picking ourselves. Like whenever people do it, it's just cheesy. You know, like I'd like to like you could pick yourself, but also pick somebody else because like you know it's just fun to give a shout for somebody you got some you want to put your confidence in. And yeah,
I mean that's
go ahead.
like treating that you're winning the event and then you don't plan to go and then you still win.
Dude, I smart moneyed. We were talking about this earlier in the Tub Discord, but I last year smart moneyed Chuppa, and Chuppa got second only because I beat him in the finals. So I would have literally picked.
Yeah, you should have lost.
Should have lost. You're right. So that is really really funny to me. But yeah, one last thing I wanted to say about Jia here is that he just had like one of the most like inspiring runs in 2022. Where he won the Milwaukee Regional with, I think it was Yveltal Groudon or something like that. And then it's literally 1 week between that tournament and NAIC. Not even like a weekend in between. Like it is just, that tournament ends, a week, NAIC. He changes teams, goes to NAIC and gets top 8. And it was just like that is just a really sick back-to-back in my opinion. Like, I mean, obviously he was just in like a very good like state like play wise, like he was on top of his game, but also he didn't just do it with the same team. He just like said like let me try something else and show that I can still do it, and that was just so sick to me. Two like a weekend apart. We also saw a decent amount of invaders at that event because it was so close to NAIC that like Europeans came over and said yeah I can spend a whole week in the US or something like that. But anyways, that's our smart monies, and make sure again I saw several people do it already, but if you haven't yet, put your smart monies in the chat because they do appear here on screen, so next week you can be like I told you so when that person wins. So anyways, if there aren't any final questions, that's going to be it for this episode of Tub Takes. Michael, thank you so much for giving us your time, for being on. It was great getting to talk to you.
Yeah, we've had a lot of tournaments to talk about in total.
Right.
Your effects are literally the best. They make my day. And that being said, yeah, I think I have nothing to add. I'm looking forward to Portland in all kind of regards. I think the South Africa special event will be more exciting than Portland. But I'm looking forward to both. And yeah, afterwards this is the last regional in NA. It's going to be intense as well. People fighting for their invites and stuff.
Right.
But it's always best if you can literally relax and do not stress about it, because if you lose round 1, for example, you will never recover if you force yourself to get a certain result. So these are the last words I can give onto your way.
Appreciate it. I'm going to not force myself to go 5-3. That's the goal.
I'm losing it in the Twitch chat. Aquamarines, like, dude, I don't know if Randy's going. He says to Randy's brother, like, I think Randy's brother would know pretty well.
That's crazy.
That is so crazy. All right, Adi, do you? I haven't actually looked. Is there anybody we should throw a raid to?
I've looked. There's like, okay. Here's the story. I looked. I found one person playing VGC. They were 10-14 in Great Ball with the Mega, and they were raging at the chat. So we're not going to send it then.
All right,
I hope
then
you guys like
VTubers.
Sometimes
I hope you
guys like VTubers. This is a VTuber playing a Reg I Tour.
Okay,
so we're sending you over there.
Oh, VTuber, sure. Why not? Why not? You know what?
Yeah.
Okay. yeah, you guys have a good evening, and we'll catch you next time. Thanks again. Peace.
Take care, guys.